What is going on, everybody? It is episode 577 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here once again with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. Happy Woman Wednesday, as Shane H. Wilder called it in the chat. I love that term. Yes, it's Woman Wednesday because Sara is with us today. Dane is not here, the Every Woman font.
Whammin' Wednesday, but yes.
We have a real woman on our hands now, so the estrogen is flowing in the room.
It's high.
Yes.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm back. Happy Persian New Year, everybody.
I saw what you were home for? Persian New Year?
Yes. First day of spring is Persian New Year. It's the solar calendar.
Wait, the first day of spring already happened?
Yep.
Oh. I missed
Welcome.
that.
All the seasons just run together for Mary.
Happy spring.
It's always summer for Mary.
I mean, the days really have been getting blurry recently.
Yep.
Brett and I were just maniacally laughing and losing our minds.
It's all
earlier.
being exposed, Mary. All the evils of the world on Twitter, no
Our
less.
dementia is being exposed. This is what's
It's very,
being
very
exposed.
true. It's very true. So what do you do for Persian New Year?
So there's a few different things, like a few different traditions. One of them is, the most popular one is you set up a table of 7 things that start with the letter S or the sound S in Persian. So a few different things are like, I'm trying to think of like one off the top of my head. Somar, that's like a word that starts with the letter S. It's a spice. So you set it up, it's for good luck, and you try to make it look all pretty and stuff, and you eat tons of Persian food, and then your relatives try to make you dance.
Do you
dance? Did you comply?
I do not dance. I will never. It's just not in me.
You're someone who doesn't dance.
I don't have it in
TM.
me to dance either. So,
Yeah.
of course, I do that for the good of other people because having to look at me dance would be the actual crime. That would be the
Is it
problem.
because you're a white boy with no rhythm?
Absolutely.
I thought
absolutely.
Slavs didn't count as white, so they have rhythm.
Right. You're a person of color.
I don't think that just automatically crosses over. I think you still have to put some work into
Okay.
it at some point.
Doesn't
I don't do
translate.
that. Somebody said I sound much better today. I can't tell if they're talking about the microphone or me personally because
Both.
I was so I was I still don't feel great, and I went to bed at 6:30 or 7 in the morning.
What?
Yeah, that happens.
How are you
Yeah.
here right now?
By the power of Ghost energy drink.
What was the weird chemical that's in your drink? It was some weird thing I've never heard of.
Pure carnitine.
Oh my
Sounds
gosh.
healthy. I have
That's
no
a
idea
new
what that
one.
is, but we'll
You
go
drink
with it.
that and you just know it's all being exposed. We're witnessing
What
the
we're-
downfall of something.
What we're talking about is I had a tweet last night where I was just like, I can't take this app. There's just too much information. What it is, I've realized, is like you end up reading so many things all about the same topic that I read 10 things and realize that I haven't taken in any of it.
Yeah.
So it's information overload and I can't take it anymore. But I also am really bad at doing what's good for me, and I still use it and ended up tweeting more than I usually do yesterday. But the problem is it's fantastic for finding things to talk about. For instance,
Yes.
we are going to talk about Drea de Matteo today. Somebody was saying we shouldn't. They're saying that there was no controversy. Somebody responded.
There
to
was
Tim.
definitely a controversy. Like, you can't frame it like there wasn't a controversy.
Well, I also don't care because I can talk about whatever the hell I want on this show because it's our show and we can talk about whatever we want. I can talk about the most non-controversy ever if I wanted to.
Okay, girl.
Yeah. So we're
Slay.
gonna talk about that. We're also gonna talk about updates in regards to the Diddy situation.
It makes you laugh.
It does. It's well,
Diddy is getting exposed and
Calling
you're
it-
laughing and you're
calling it the
coughing.
Diddy situation is
coughing
just
about
ridiculous because it's like we're talking about something as serious as like sexual assault and sex trafficking, and then I'm using a name like Diddy, which is ridiculous.
Well, look, all of the engagement farm posting about this lawsuit is what treats it with less seriousness than it deserves. So I just really don't feel bad when we laugh at just the way the conversation is becoming so clownish.
So we're going to talk about that. There's a bunch of updates there. We are going to talk about Drea de Matteo. She was, of course, one of the actresses on The Sopranos. She is now
Is
very...
it Sopranos or Sopranos?
I think it's like neither or neither. I think you can say whatever you want, Mary.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about that. She is now very successful on OnlyFans, and
Go her.
Tim had a tweet about it, and they kind of had a back and forth, and Leia McSweeney got involved. It was a whole thing. So we're going to talk about it. It's going to be an interesting discussion. We're also going to talk about a former actress, I guess, because she's not really acting right now, Eva Mendes, who's being dunked on by feminists for being a trad wife, as much as she probably would hate that label, right? Like that's a loaded term.
No, she would never call herself that.
But she gave up her career as an actress to be Ryan Gosling's wife and the mother of their children, which is, of course, I think a lot of people in these circles would call that commendable. So we will discuss that.
Ava commendable as.
Oh, that was good. So we're gonna talk about that. Also,
It wasn't good.
That was so good.
I was covering for you. It's good. Also, guys, there was Mary sent me this tweet about whether or not Sydney Sweeney is in fact implicitly right wing.
I'm having a crisis again where I'm crying out of my left eye.
This happens.
It's
all
always
the
the
time.
left eye. I don't know what's going on.
Leftist tear.
It must be my leftist tears because Sydney Sweeney is implicitly right wing.
There you go. So we're going to talk about that. We got a bunch of other stuff to get into. But before we do that, guys, would you hit the like button on this video? Subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already, please and thank you. Remember that if you share the video with your friends, more people can come in here live and watch the show. So we get great engagement and growth from like the segments and from the shorts, but less of that growth comes from the live streams because we have a very core audience here and we love you guys for that. But we would like to get more people in here to experience the show live. A lot of people say they don't get a chance to do it, but whenever they do, they enjoy it. So share the video with your friends. Remember, all super chats, $20 and over. We will interrupt the discussion. We will read those super chats right then and there. Perhaps you have thoughts on Drea de Matteo and that Tim Pool guy. You know, maybe they have thoughts. You look like you're about to say something. I turned the camera to you because it looked like you were about to say something.
No, I just saw Shane H. Wilder's super chat.
No,
I'm
we'll
excited
get
to
that.
see these memes.
All right, so we got that. We got a bunch of other stuff. So if you ladies are ready, we can just go ahead and get going. Mary, are you ready?
I'm trying.
She's doing her best. She's gonna cry. She's gonna cry her way through it. It's gonna be great. I did see your tweets earlier about you had two Tim tweets of your own today.
Yeah, there's this picture of Tim on his IMDb where he just looks like the meme of are there any games on your phone? Like, it's just way uncomfortably close to his face.
Yeah.
love it.
So if you're ready,
Yeah,
Sarah,
I
you
think
ready?
so.
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right, I've got some great news.
I'm not ready for this.
I've got some great news to start the show. We'll start with the McDonald's news first, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the big deal. McDonald's will start selling Krispy Kreme donuts in 2026. I didn't include my favorite tweet about this, which was just this headline. It said, "Millions will die," which I love, you know?
I mean, if we want the world to not stereotype Americans as extremely obese and lazy, maybe this wouldn't be the move.
It's funny how long that is not a recent phenomenon. When I went to Spain in 2010, they were just shocked I wasn't a boulder, like a fat, slobby boulder.
Yeah. If you travel, you can always tell who the Americans are.
Yes.
They're
by the fanny packs and the cellulite.
Fanny packs.
The fanny packs and cellulite.
Well, fanny packs became trendy, so
Yes.
they're back in style now.
that's not a thing anymore.
So I don't think I would ever eat a Krispy Kreme donut from a McDonald's because
Why not?
They just. I don't go to McDonald's for breakfast, and I don't eat Krispy Kreme donuts in the afternoon.
Breakfast is the only reason to go to McDonald's, in my opinion.
I mean, I don't really go to McDonald's at all these days, but when I didn't go for breakfast, at least not recently.
Is donuts breakfast? Is it
Are they going to have a Krispy Kreme McGriddle? If that's a
dude,
thing,
that's
I'm
coming.
getting it.
It's coming.
I will get the heart
called
disease.
it.
I don't care.
There you go.
I actually think this is a great idea
I'm all
because
in.
I was just thinking the other day how McDonald's desserts are subpar. Like Wendy's,
Oh,
they
they
got
are,
the Frosty.
You don't like the McFlurry? I mean, have you ever seen that skit where the guy, it's the rap song of the guy going back and forth with the McDonald's guy?
Yes, I
Welcome
have.
to McDonald's with your order, bro. Can I get an Oreo McFlurry? Yeah. And the whole thing's about him saying the ice cream's broken. He goes, "That's cap. I'm
Wait.
coming in to check."
Can you find
I
it?
can't. You have to find it. And
I
send
need
it
to
me.
find it.
But there's 10,000 remixes.
Well, look,
of this,
even if you
and-
like the
never seen
McFlurries,
those.
it's not like they're going to give you a McFlurry anyway.
Right,
Because the ice
exactly.
cream machine is always broken.
it's never broken. They're lying. They just don't.
They're
clean it.
getting
step it up.
exposed.
McDonald's exposed for not cleaning their ice cream machines and being too lazy to turn them on.
We have the technology.
Yes,
No, but
exactly.
they needed to do this because nobody has a reason to go to McDonald's anymore. It's overpriced and overhyped. No one cares.
Babylon Bee who got into a whole controversy on Twitter the other day with like the Groypers.
What?
had another one that had a tweet that I found that was really funny. A meme that was really funny. It says Wendy's labeled okay by everyone. Basically saying like everyone just kind of decides, yeah, Wendy's is fine.
Yeah.
And it's kind of true.
Why did this make anyone angry?
No, that's not what made them angry. It was a whole different.
Okay. Okay.
I just brought it up because that was the most recent thing I remember about the Babylon Bee. They have a whole bunch of other stuff going on that has nothing to do with this show. We won't get into it. But the point is like it was like really funny because it's like, yeah, that is Wendy's. It's just that's fine.
The only fast food that's worth it is Taco Bell and Chick-fil-A.
And Jack in the Box.
Okay, but that's not a thing here. So
I know, but I just got to shout out
we
Jack
don't
in the Box.
acknowledge your Californian fast food chains.
I definitely had Jack in the Box when I was in California.
Like was it one of those? No, I'm saying by choice, as in like
By choice.
When you went home, you were like, I'm gonna have it.
Yes, like
Okay.
I went out of my way to get the Jack in the Box tacos.
I wasn't saying that like, that wasn't like a knock on you. I'm saying like you went home and actively made the decision to go there.
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah,
Glad
I was
we
of sound
cleared that
mind.
up.
Well, here's what you could do if you were going to the local 7-Eleven. You can now get hot dog flavored sparkling water. Fred Durst is somewhere very happy about this.
I just don't understand. Is this just for people to make like YouTube reaction videos?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
gotta be.
It's clearly a marketing ploy, and I'm not gonna fall for it.
The fact that they don't have a Limp Bizkit sponsor for this is insane.
Wait, what do you mean a Limp Bizkit
Okay,
sponsor?
I'm missing
What does
this.
that have
Okay.
to do with Limp Bizkit?
They had an album called Chocolate Starfish and the Hot Dog Flavored Water.
Oh.
Okay,
that was an
I
album.
was not aware of
okay.
that.
Yes. So there should be what this can should have is a big red hat on it, like Fred Durst.
Look, Gen Z doesn't know who Fred Durst is. I'm just gonna be real with you.
That's your loss. Okay. That's
It is
your-
Gen Z's loss. Yes, I agree.
It's so I don't know what would be worse.
Should
for
we
your
try the
health.
hot dog water?
I don't want to try
Live.
show?
Yes, you guys should try it live.
Episode 600 hot dog water challenge.
I'm down.
It's
to
happening.
I'm down to just lie, and
You'll just fill it with normal
Regular
water. No,
water.
and then you're not going to be able to get the residue off the inside of the can, so you're going to have that hot dog aftertaste. It's even worse than the real thing.
Oh, Ryan in the chat says glizzy water. That's what it should have been called. Glizzy water.
Ew. Ew, ew, ew.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's gross. So there's like 7-Elevens over here that I don't think anyone goes to. Like there's a 7-Eleven over by the Walmart over here that really only looks like people every time.
I've been in there a couple times.
Have
was
you?
there once.
Yes.
There's usually cop cars there.
Weird.
Yeah. There's usually
In
cop
case
cars
something
there.
goes down at the Walmart,
Yeah.
obviously.
So yeah, be on the lookout for the big bite hot dog flavored sparkling water.
Beware.
That is disgusting. All right, big news if you're a fan of Disney, which I'm sure so many of you people here are.
Yeah.
Right? So Disney Plus and Hulu have officially launched their merged app. Subscribers to both Disney Plus and Hulu can now see the full Hulu experience on Disney Plus. I don't know if what that means is like me who I do have Hulu, but I don't have Disney Plus. Does that mean that I would have to cancel my Hulu subscription and get Disney Plus to then again have Hulu? Does that make sense?
It's all a gigantic scam.
Yeah,
I love
obviously.
this though. This one says Delulu.
They
That's
are.
what it should be called.
They are Delulu. Boosted Yogi said, just need a chocolate starfish now.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Wait, you said you have a soda stream, right?
yes.
Well, you can make at-home hot dog sparkling water.
We have hot dog sparkling water at home, kids.
Yeah.
I'm not doing. So I've since giving up soda, like buying soda, like what I've done is I've reintroduced some like Soda Stream, right?
I love how you say that, and there is a Sour Patch
Energy
Kids
drink.
flavored energy drink.
Energy drink was like
next
my
to
one
you.
indulgence, right?
Right,
And
right.
as soon as I like introduced like drinking like one soda at night, it immediately stopped the candy. I immediately stopped eating the candy.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like what they say when you're on a diet, like sometimes give in to your cravings, otherwise you're just gonna binge.
Yeah. I just was substituting and stuff like that. So.
Better to eat it than drink it.
There's actually probably an argument for that there
Yeah.
because you'll get full faster and,
Yeah.
and you shouldn't be eating till full with candy anyways.
It's definitely a cope, but
Yeah,
it's fine.
It is. Like, it's funny because like as spring approaches, I guess spring is here now since Persian New Year is here.
Yes.
And skating more often, like the weight just comes off easier when you're getting out more regularly.
Mm-hmm.
And out here, like over in Brunswick, there's like just going for walks is good because so much of it is uphill. So it's actually really, really good for your body to just go walk around because there's good resistance to have to go walk downhill one way, uphill the other.
Yeah.
And it actually exerts a certain amount of exercise that you might not get otherwise. And a lot of times when I'm done with work, it's getting closer to dark now because it's only light out till what? It's like light out till 7.
It's getting later.
Yeah, like all of a sudden the days got longer.
Yeah.
It's crazy how that happens.
It's almost like there's a day where it all
spring
switches.
starts.
It's like it almost falls
Spring
back
equinox.
or springs forward. So, if you, I know a lot of people here don't support streaming services and choose the pirate life. I can't advocate for that, I don't think, legally. But I can say that I would rather have both options, but there's something, I can't have Disney Plus. I hate Disney Plus. I hate it.
So you have to pay more to get the Disney content?
No. Like right now, you can they raised the price of Disney Plus, so it's on par with the price of Hulu. But now you get all the content. So I just last night I actually tweeted. I said they have Sherlock back on Hulu, which they haven't had on in years because it was a BBC show. I don't know if that has to do with the contract with Disney Plus, but they've started adding a bunch of content back to those platforms.
Maybe they're trying to get people to get the Disney Plus.
I can't do it. I hate Disney. I do.
They can't scam us into that. No.
All right.
Home of the Kardashians and the Marvels.
You're gonna, Mary, you're gonna have to give some context for this. This is just a clip of JLo.
Yes, here's JLo spitting chewing gum into her assistant's hand in the middle of New York City. Such rude and nasty behavior. There is no reason to treat your employees like this.
Okay, here we go.
I've always been fascinated about how much more well-behaved we have to be.
So the community notes on this says that, so she was doing a role, she was in a scene,
Yes.
and she's standing on her mark, so she can't move from there.
According to the set assistant in the video,
Yes.
who gave her context, Jennifer spit her gum out into a tissue at the assistant's request because filming was about to begin on the movie Second Act.
I like the idea that JLo goes, no, and she goes,
This is
she
a
just
common
swallows her
practice
gum whenever
between
this happens.
actors and on-set assistants. But here's the thing, why don't you just pick it out of your mouth
That's what I was saying.
instead of spitting into someone's hand?
Let's see. She's got hands. So she's holding a purse in one hand. She's got.
She has a free hand.
She totally
wearing
steps off her
gloves.
mark.
She's wearing gloves.
Yeah, I mean,
She's wearing wardrobe, so it's not her clothes.
whatever.
She's
You're
getting
just simping
spit,
for JLo right
saliva,
now.
and grossness on there. And that lady picked her job. So.
I don't want to hear you're simping for JLo right now. She probably does this to Ben Affleck when they're not even in the middle of a workday.
Yes.
She just spits in his face.
She's like, hand.
Somebody should do this thing where Ben Affleck is like, there was a video last week where he was kind of trolling her about her documentary.
Yes.
There's a clip of them. I don't think we ended up showing it on the show.
But he basically called her out
for
telling the greatest love story never told.
I think what it is that Ben Affleck is he's making The Accountant 2, which, by the way, guys, if you've never watched The Accountant is on at least one streaming service. You should go check it out. It was a really good movie where he basically plays like a savant who's also like an assassin. And he's kind of like, it's really, really weird and interesting, but he's making The Accountant too. I would chalk it up to the movies that don't need to be made. It never needed a sequel. And I don't think who's the lady from Pitch Perfect?
Kendrick?
Anna Kendrick. She's in it. She's kind of like wood. She can't really act.
You think?
I don't think she can act.
She's obnoxious.
Remember when we were talking about Anne Hathaway having no sex appeal? Less sex appeal would be Anna Kendrick.
Really?
Anna Kendrick is negative sex appeal.
I think that a lot of guys have said their celebrity crush is Anna Kendrick.
That's not the same thing as sex appeal.
No?
No.
You can think someone is cute,
Yes.
but not be like sexually.
But she's in
attracted
that
to them,
movie,
I guess.
and it was good. But I think Ben Affleck is getting back into character as the badass from The Accountant, so he's putting JLo down. But then he's like got to get out of character really fast because she's gonna hit him or something.
I'm gonna throw the chancla.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say, but I refrained. So
I'll say it.
Thank you for that. So this is very normal on-set behavior. It doesn't make it good. But she chose her career, and I'm sure she's paid well for. Actually, that's not true. I've heard a lot of these assistants.
The on-set production assistant, probably not.
Is that like a personal assistant or a set
Who's
production
to say?
assistant? Okay. If it's a set production assistant, probably not. If
Set
it's like an
assistant.
executive assistant of hers, they're probably paid pretty well.
Yeah, but it's probably the set.
Yeah.
This is a boss move.
I can't see the the tissue. I was like looking for
No,
the
you
tissue.
can't prove that what
No,
she's
it looks
saying
like
is
straight
true.
palm, like just
I was
skin to gum.
I was
Yeah.
looking at the video, so I went down the conspiracy rabbit hole on the Kate Middleton thing the other day about her video when she announced her diagnosis, and they showed this video where it looks like her ring.
The
appears
motion
and-
blur made it seem like her
The
ring
ring
disappeared.
disappears,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I think that this set assistant actually could sell the gum on eBay for a lot of money.
That's what she should do.
So
She probably will. I mean, it said she requested it.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
at the assistant's request, allegedly.
So I guess that'll be on eBay any minute now.
If you can sell bathwater and farts, you can sell JLo's gum.
Yeah, why not?
Somebody just starts an account where it's like that's all it is, like JLo's hair. Like, I'm sure there's some weird person who would have bought. Remember when they were saying that like Amy Klobuchar like combed her hair with a fork or something?
No,
like
she
that?
she used a comb to eat salad and then she like threw it at someone.
Yes, it's like sell that comb.
Yeah.
Sell the hair out
To
of
the Amy
comb.
Klobuchar stands.
And
I'm sure there are a lot of them.
I'm from the state of Minnesota, and I did see at least one Amy Klobuchar bumper sticker in my lifetime.
They're all such goblins. Is it just that there's such a magnifying glass on politicians that they seem weirder than they are, and that like everyone is weird like that, or are they specifically just not good at being human?
I also
because like
just-
eating salad with a comb, or in DeSantis's example, eating pudding with 3 fingers. Like, what is wrong with these people? Seriously.
Yes, Brett is from Minnesota. Take a drink. I could also mention the show House, which you have to take a drink when I say.
Okay, we don't want them to go to the hospital.
I mean, maybe I do. But Fred Durst, who we mentioned earlier, was in an episode of House as a bartender. There you go.
Interesting.
I've now made your day brighter and more
Come full
interesting.
circle.
All right. So Yellowstone star Forey J. Smith was kicked off a plane because he didn't want to sit next to a masked passenger.
There are a lot of people who still fly and go to
Oh, yeah.
airports masked up. And not just that. Like, I mean, I see these people at Target, Walmart.
Claims he got booted off a plane for being drunk, but says it's really because the passenger sitting next to him was wearing a mask. He's like, look, I woke up today and all of a sudden I was wasted because this guy had a mask on. It was-
Look, I am sympathetic to him here because I just don't want to live in a society with people who are delusional.
yeah.
At this point, I have even taken to starting like coughing violently when I walk past people wearing masks.
Yeah.
Because I just don't care about your delusions.
Yeah.
And I'm not sick,
It's
so it's not
also-
like I'm even doing anything to you. You're just crazy.
You know what else it's ruined?
What?
It's ruined the trope of like the hypochondriac character in TV shows. So this is a trope that they can put in movies and television shows to show somebody
Yeah.
who's good-natured but otherwise a bit of a busybody.
Like
and-
Niles and Frasier.
Yeah. There was a character. What was the lady's name from? What was the show with Sterling K. Brown? It's that really, really big one that was on a couple of years ago.
Don't know.
I can't remember that. Okay, but this lady in the show, she plays like a hypochondriac who has to go. Not in the show. She was on she had like a mini episode arc on NCIS, and she has to go to Iraq, but she's like a germaphobe, and the water there is terrible and stuff like that. So characters will just kind of troll her and like pretend to sneeze while walking by her because she's always cleaning her hands obsessively and stuff like that. You can't really do characters like that anymore because they feel justified.
There are whole like Reddit threads and like Discord servers where all of these people who unfortunately fell to COVID psychosis commune together and talk about their insane family members who are doing Thanksgiving again. Like,
Oh my goodness.
they're really victims of a mass hysteria.
I like to like give people the benefit of the doubt because it may not be because of COVID that people are wearing masks, but regardless, it did change the culture.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was not something we saw before COVID, and now there is just that paranoia of illness in
No,
general.
it wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's This Is Us. It wasn't Lovecraft Country. It was This Is Us. Thank you. That was the show. But yeah, no. So the other day we were at like Target or something or Walmart, and it was like there was a mom. She was not wearing a mask, but her child was like young.
That pisses me off.
Like
Her child was wearing a mask and not her.
yeah. And I also so
bizarre.
and I've made it a point to point out like most of the time when I see people still wearing masks, I feel more sadness or I guess pity would be the more accurate term because I feel like this is a person who's been duped. I will oftentimes like if they're a bigger person, I do wonder sometimes like is there not just them but some people are immunocompromised fine. Whatever. But I do admit that my first instinct when like we went to Target recently and there was like a dude wearing a mask and his girlfriend wasn't, I was just like, bro.
Like, she definitely doesn't respect you, bro.
No, I don't know if that dude has some type
You
of
killed her
condition
boner.
that you
Look,
know.
I don't care. Okay, also, by the way, the dogma around masks is that you're wearing them to protect the people around you, not yourself.
Yes.
Right.
You are protecting everyone around you, which means that you're virtue signaling and you're more ethical than everyone around you. But if you're wearing a mask and no one else is, why? Like, you're clearly not doing it to protect yourself, because that's not even the reason why Fauci would wear a mask.
Nerdy Film Girl says maybe the kid has a rare illness. Look, I fully understand that that's a possibility.
Okay, but that literally makes zero sense as to why the kid would be wearing a mask.
And like out and about in public with this like really rare like Ebola illness.
It was also like a cloth mask.
spreading it.
I'm sorry, I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
I don't think you need to mask a kid ever.
Now, however, I'm not going to like yell at a person on a plane for wearing one. Do whatever the hell you want. As long as you're not telling me I have to wear one, I guess I don't really care. But he reminded us at the airport he's at, he says they kicked him off the aircraft claiming he was drunk, but he asserts he only had a few drinks and absolutely isn't drunk. Look, many a drunk person has claimed that they've only had a few drinks and they're not drunk. Oddly enough, if you looked at the transcripts of most DUI arrests, they probably all say that.
You know what? I support him.
Forey then calls out an unnamed group of people for not standing up and calling out the bullshit surrounding wearing a mask, and reiterates the mask on the other passenger's face made him uncomfortable.
Oh, he also issued an apology to fans for not attending the SAG Awards recently and explained that he refused to comply with the jab.
Well, hey, that's what's going on with Drea de Matteo too. So,
Interesting.
It's all connected.
It's all getting exposed.
So, you know what? Whatever. Just let the person. It's an airplane. A lot of people already have anxiety flying. That's another reason I say give a little grace on planes, because a lot of people are already anxious about the act of flying.
Yeah, about everything.
So, it is what it is. There it is. I said it. All right,
Drink.
Mary, you're gonna have to explain this one to me. I never watched Blue's Clues. This is sad.
Sarah, did you watch Blue's
yes,
Clues?
I did.
I did as well.
I love Blue's Clues.
Steve was one of the hosts, I guess, on Blue's Clues, and he's trying to get some TikTok clout by appealing to millennials who are in a state of arrested development and haven't grown past their childhood. So let's take a look at this.
Hey,
Cringe.
I'm checking in. Tell me, what's going on?
So we're supposed to be telling him our problems. So like, I'm a podcaster and it's literally harder than
I have a really
manual
hard
labor,
job.
and no one understands what
Every
it's
day I
like
try
to
to
be a
explain to
content
people.
creator.
I try to explain to people every day how hard my job is, and everybody just laughs at me.
And then I saw someone wearing a mask on the plane. And then they kicked me off the plane.
And then they made me drink hot dog flavored water.
All right, he had to cut y'all off.
Oh my gosh. He understands us.
It's so cringily long.
He really gets us.
Okay. All right, well, it's good to hear from you. You look great, by the way.
Okay.
Okay, we've got a $20 from Pat's Junkie. He said, love the show. I predict Mary's career trajectory will have her being the next Megyn Kelly. Brett will be a WWE announcer.
I don't have the voice for that, though I did. So yesterday, I went down this rabbit hole again where, look, do you guys know who Shohei Ohtani is?
No.
He's a pro baseball player. He's a prodigy in baseball, meaning that he's a starting pitcher who's also a power hitter, hits top of the order. Very, very good. Well, he's in the middle of a gambling scandal where his interpreter, he's from Japan, his interpreter is accused of stealing $4.5 million of his money and gambling with it to bookies. Now, there's a... No!
Brett's gonna lose it.
There we go.
Thank you.
I'm usually good about turning it back up now at the end of the day. So basically this interpreter is accused of stealing $4.5 million of his money and using it to gamble. I think Occam's razor usually infers that it's probably the person who actually possesses the $4.5 million that used it to gamble. But I guess it is possible, you know, if you've trusted this person, he's more than just an interpreter. Perhaps he had access to your bank accounts. It's possible, right? Fine, whatever.
Okay.
I don't know the truth of what it is. He released a statement, whatever. But what I find funny about all of this, on top of the fact that Pete Rose is like banned from the Hall of Fame and for gambling, and there's a whole discussion that could be having about that. It's just funny because in the last however many years, I don't know if maybe you guys don't get these things because you don't follow sports or don't look at sports, but like
Because you're women.
gambling is a huge part of like sports now.
Yeah.
DraftKings, right? Like they make gambling like
Fantasy football.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
So I was just thinking about it, and I'm getting off the WWE tangent because I was like listening to old clips, and I watched the clip of Barry Bonds hitting his 756th home run when he broke the home run record. And I'm thinking about how Major League Baseball is able to profit off of that, despite the fact that he's not allowed in the Hall of Fame because he was on steroids. But I was listening to the guy call the announcement. It's just the greatest call ever. So I don't have the voice for somebody who could do that great of an announcing job. And I'm way too ADHD. My thoughts would go this way and that way. I wouldn't be able to stay on task. Plus, if you guys know, back in the day, at least back when Vince was in charge, you know, not only do those guys have to announce, Vince is like in your ear telling you what to say. So it's like you have to both announce and listen for what they said. And I don't have 2 ears that work.
It's like Dan Schneider in the control room
Yeah.
when you're
Yep.
editing Nickelodeon shows, telling you what to do.
And I do think it's BS that Bonds isn't in the Hall of Fame or Pete Rose. I say let them all juice to the gills.
So the caption here is Steve from Blue's Clues posting this after the Nickelodeon documentary. He knew exactly what we needed. Crying emoji.
Bro.
So I guess Blue's Clues was on Nickelodeon.
Was it?
So he watched Quiet on Set and he decided to allow millennials to trauma dump in his comment section.
I mean, what they need is somebody in their actual life who could do this for them.
I don't know. You watched a documentary about bad things happening to other people and made yourself the victim.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
Yeah. I don't really see the Nickelodeon documentary as like any loss to my childhood in any way, shape, or form.
No, I don't either. And I don't want them to go back and retroactively edit all of those inappropriate jokes out of the shows. Leave the shows as they are.
I even thought, like, cynically, I'm like, if I was Amanda Bynes, I wouldn't want them to I wouldn't want them to take down the shows because you're making money off royalties, right? So
Yeah, I don't think
so they
anyone
get
is
punished.
arguing for them not to stream the shows anymore.
well, I mean, that was the first thing
That'd be
Dan
pretty
Schneider
extreme.
said. He was like,
Well, he
edit
said-
the shows, edit the jokes.
He said
out of it."
edit the shows, but don't
Yeah.
take them
But
down.
I'm saying he's saying it because he doesn't want them pulled.
Yes.
Because he's still going to make money
Right.
off it.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah, I didn't watch Blue's Clues.
That was just really cringy.
Now Steve-O from Jackass needs to make his own version of this.
I would love that. Yes.
With like a ska song playing in the background.
Exactly.
him.
With a Mighty Mighty Boss Tones song playing in the background with just a trombone. Okay. All right. This is an example of the internet going a little crazy over a whole bunch of nothing.
Well, here's this photo of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce on vacation, and they are, having lunch or something. And Taylor Swift just happens to be animated in the middle of a sentence, probably. But they got the screen cap of her looking like she's shouting at Travis. And they posted this with the caption, "Every man who dates a feminist will meet the same fate. There's no escaping it."
This is a certain form of like when you've been entrenched in like the internet for too long, this is what happens to your brain. It's true.
Yes.
The other thing I thought of, it's just the woman's version of the dude at the Astros game going like this to the girl.
Oh, yeah, literally.
It is. It's just that.
Yeah, or the guy at the club whispering in the girl's ear. Yeah.
And the problem is like, and I've caught myself doing this. Like if we focus on the subject matter for too long, you kind of like hype your brain up into this hypersensitive state of like, I don't even know what the term for it would be. Like you're just really, really like, it's like raw and you can't get away from it. And then it's like everything sets it off.
You're being stimulated with
Yeah.
new inputs, new information, new images constantly.
She just looks like she's talking to me.
Yeah, she just looks mid-sentence. She might be saying pass the ketchup for all we know.
I think that you guys could probably screenshot us on the show looking exactly like that, where like it'll be me yelling at Brett. Yeah, and then it would be like everyone who does a podcast with a feminist meets the same fate.
Yep.
But you know, who knows what they were talking about?
It's funnier. She actually is yelling at him. She's like, "Get back in shape, Tubby."
What if the discussion was?
He just had a thing on TMZ today about they said like, "Why are you out of shape?" He goes, "It's the off season. I don't have to be in shape right now." It's her going like, "Get back in shape, fatty."
They might be debating whether the new Ghostbusters is good for all we know.
That could be it. That could be it. Me and Mary had that debate. On the show. Yeah. Somebody like it's really funny. So you pointed.
What?
You point out like the sexual jokes in the movie.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Like I guess they just like maybe that like you as an adult you hear that stuff so much. I don't remember any of them. Like you pointed one out and I go, I don't remember that. Like it just didn't connect with me.
Well, when they went into that vault in Camille Nanjiani's
Okay.
apartment, I don't remember his character's name because it was forgettable. But the character of Lucky was like going on and on about how this is a sex dungeon and you can have loud sex in here. And I'm like, you know, this is like a movie for families to see. And I know I sound like a Puritan, but at the same time, like I would be pissed off if I brought my 8-year-old to this movie.
Was it rated
and they were
PG or
hearing that.
PG-13?
Probably PG-13.
Okay.
Even still, it always made me so uncomfortable when we would watch a family movie and there'd be sex jokes slipped in there.
Yeah, it's just
Why?
awkward.
I mean, the original Ghostbusters literally has ghost head. So
Is that true?
yes.
I don't remember that.
Well, you see Dan Aykroyd, the pants get undone.
Oh my God.
And then his eyes, yes.
Okay.
That went over my head clearly.
Yep. Yeah. So I think
Probably got fast forwarded when I watched it, but you can't fast forward in a movie theater.
All right. So that's what it is. I just Nina Infinity said, I think the internet is hilarious. Here we have a photo. We have no idea what is being discussed, yet everyone thinks the woman is putting the man down somehow. Again, I think that's telling on yourself. Like means it's on your brain that's what's happening.
Yeah, I think they're doing just fine.
It's like what we should do is like a pop culture version of like those like the Rorschach test.
It is a Rorschach test, yeah. I mean, I think the best thing for this relationship is if Travis Kelce proposed without any cameras around. I think that would be the best sign.
No, I think you should wear a GoPro and do it.
I think that would be a sign of
Live stream it.
longevity in the relationship. If they don't rely on people seeing them.
PJ Edwards says Ghostbusters is not for kids. The problem with that is that it did gangbusters with the cartoon and toys and the films, and it very much exists in this market where back in the 80s RoboCop was marketed towards kids as well. Like there's toys for RoboCop and RoboCop has a bunch of violence. Like it was the 80s. It's different than it was the 90s, right? We should have
more unhinged.
we should have both we should have shirts that say it was the 80s and it was the 90s.
People say that stuff about the 90s way more for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So we'll have to wait and see where the discourse comes down on Ghostbusters, but I don't think it's going to do the numbers that people thought it was going to do, sadly, because I thought that it didn't need to exist. I do think, however, that if you liked the original, you said you thought the original Ghostbusters was fine?
When I was a kid, but when I rewatched it, I was like,
Okay.
like I don't care.
I really enjoyed Afterlife because it paid such homage to Harold Ramis and to Ivan Reitman, who directed the movie. That's why I didn't think the new one needed to be made. But we live in this weird time where me saying like this doesn't need to be made doesn't necessarily mean the movie can't be good. It just means in my mind it has to work harder to justify its need to exist. Like if you're gonna make a sequel, like they're doing that with what were we talking about the other day? Like there's like the Accountant, but there's a lot of stuff like that now, right? Where they're making all of these sequels, and I'm like, why this? Why does this need to be made into something new today? It doesn't most of the time. All right, cringe or cute of the day.
Sarah, you decide.
Let's do cringe.
Okay. Mary sent me this and she begged me not to check it out beforehand. It says, Kieran Culkin sitting there wishing he was invisible in this moment.
I sometimes wish I was African American, you know, because I think at least people don't bash them afterwards when they say something, you know, about a reality, which is like, I sometimes wish I was
I
African
really, really wish that I could go and watch the context for what she was trying to say, but it just came out wrong, you know?
He's like, my forehead is suddenly extremely itchy right now.
Yeah, not a good look.
Well, I feel like in the 90s, she could have gotten away with this, and people would have been forgiving, but he's
Well,
like,
in
this
the
woman just got
90s
canceled.
In the 90s, you wouldn't say that like a black person could get away with saying anything. You wouldn't say that because it wasn't true.
Oh no, I mean what she said is stupid.
But the fact that this woman like works for a publication like The Wrap.
It would be
Hollywood,
better if
right?
he came and he's like, I feel the same way about women sometimes. Sometimes I wish I could be a woman because they can say things about the other gender that,
Yeah.
you know, us men can't. If he was a
Right,
good friend,
right.
he would have saved her.
Yeah,
True.
he just made her look so much worse.
He's like, yeah, that's right.
What do you even say?
I don't
to
know
that?
this lady.
All right, let's cleanse the timeline with some cute of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get rid of that. Let's look at this. All right, this is from Stiffy314. Their name, not mine. Mr. Bean and Ashbert, hope you feel better, but also want justice for Mocha. Cats are so weird. There will be no justice for
Mr.
Mocha.
Bean looks like a lima bean. Cute,
That is cute.
fluffy.
Very cute.
Which one is this?
This is from Not Yo Cheese, leaving out of town tomorrow, so Cameron is getting a bath today.
Aw, cute.
Very cute.
Olivia asked if I would help, cause the cat needs to be clean. I said no.
Wait,
Litter
Cats.
box?
Mocha gets clean. Like not often,
Wait.
but it does happen.
Like a bath?
Yes.
Cats don't need
No,
baths.
the other cat doesn't. This one does.
Cats don't
The
need
point
baths.
is, I said I will not do that. I said I don't care. I will not help.
Yeah, no.
No. Like I have free will here in America, and I will not help this cat. It's not
Like a
happening.
shit test?
It was a shit test, and you passed.
Well, that's not
You got
happening.
a $20 from Pop Culture Junkie. Older Nickelodeon actors get 0 residuals from any of the episodes. This changed with the new SAG deal, but isn't retroactive.
That sucks.
Oh yeah, didn't not Josh Peck, but there was someone else that he was talking to on Nickelodeon who I think one of them said they don't get any residuals from the shows that they did.
Maybe Miranda Cosgrove said that.
Yeah.
I don't know. You got to do brand deals these days to
Yep,
stay
it's the only
afloat.
way.
Yep.
All right. Now that we are we're how many minutes into the show?
Only 41.
42 minutes.
42,
42
sorry.
minutes into the show, guys. Let's go ahead and get started. Mary, what the hell are the Diddy updates?
Yeah, we're going to get into some updates about the Diddy lawsuit and the FBI raid on Diddy's homes in both Miami and LA. I just have no idea how TMZ does it. They got the drone footage from inside his home after it got raided, and there were some interesting moments, namely a huge teddy bear on site of his home.
You are correct that TMZ is the only 3-letter agency you can trust.
Literally, TMZ is the only 3-letter agency Americans can trust these days.
Harvey Levin is my president.
They always find the sources. They always have the newest information. I don't know how they manage it, but they just saw like all of this drone footage after the feds tore apart the place. So I wanted to take a look at that with everyone.
So this is the one where he calls it a witch hunt. After this one right
Diddy's
here.
house after the feds raid it.
Yeah. Here we go.
Like, what is that?
Servers.
For all of his hidden cameras?
Yep. You know what? I bet you he's got one of those bookcases with a book that goes and it opens to a bunch of secret hallways.
He's literally a
he for
super
sure
villain.
has
You know that
secret
Amazon
rooms.
sells those now, or Home Depot sells those now. Bookcase
Really?
doors.
That's cool.
I kind of want to buy one. I just put it in a place where a bookcase would never go. It's in a hallway for no reason.
Really, though, Tim would do that.
Yes.
Okay, they're in his pantry. Why is everything so gray, by the way? He just has the most soulless house.
He's like a beige mom.
Yeah, he's literally a beige mom.
I love that the feds.
Okay, what is this?
It's a nanny cam. It has to be.
Probably
There's a nanny
It's
cam
probably a
in this
camera.
giant teddy bear in Diddy's home.
I like the idea that we figured that out and they didn't, and all the evidence is literally on that bear and it got left there, and some fed is watching this stream.
I
right
just
now, they're
know
like, "Oh,
the Homeland Security investigators are watching right now
Yes.
for insights. Yeah, super weird.
There's probably drugs in that
There
thing.
are there's bags of
Super
cocaine
creepy,
inside the teddy
man.
bear. His safe's
A
open.
comb? You see that comb?
Get the DNA evidence off of that hairbrush.
Sean Combs, eh?
Sean Combs.
This down here in blue.
What do you think it
I
is?
can't read it. I'm trying to read it. I can't read what it says.
Is it a credit card?
Gum?
I don't know.
Gum? It looks like a bunch of gum.
But we were told, there's secret cameras, secret audio recordings all over this house. Illicit drugs, unregistered firearms. So this is probably after anything illegal has been seized. How do you keep track of all
So
those
many
shoes?
The squatter's paradise.
I need to know how TMZ got access to this.
What if a bunch of squatters just moved in and wouldn't move out now?
It's gonna become a rave, like a rave venue.
Yes. Okay.
Bumpin' Diddy music.
Yeah.
No, they would play 50 Cent.
Oh, dang.
Like, is this a TMZ person who went into the house, or is this body cam footage from the police?
I don't know.
More safes open.
Safes?
Safes?
Very
Okay.
interesting.
Another bear.
It's fascinating. Another bear.
A different bear.
Weird.
Over there.
Weird.
All right. And this is a big deal now because it looks as if that documentary. So we were kind of angry because we actually talked about this not that long ago.
Yeah, so back when the Cassie lawsuit was filed against Diddy, 50 Cent teased this new documentary he's producing to expose Diddy for all of his wrongdoings. And I think that this is important because it implies that 50 Cent has no blackmail on him, that he has a clean record, and he has the power to say whatever he wants about Diddy, which is not something that a lot of people in the rap industry can say from the sound of it.
Well,
so
I guess Eminem and Dr. Dre and all of them they run in different circles. I was trying to explain to Mary why I love 50 Cent so much. I said, you have to watch the show Power to really understand why 50 Cent rules so much. So in that show...
he's been based for a while.
Yes, and he's also he makes fun of Madonna, which I can always support.
Yeah.
But like in that show, so it's Joseph Sikora and Omari Hardwick. They play drug kingpins. Omari Hardwick plays Ghost, drug kingpin in New York. Mm-hmm. And Joseph Sikora does a really, really good job of playing this just kind of psychopathic, drug lord, or I guess he's number 2 behind Ghost. But when Kanan's character gets introduced, 50 Cent plays him. And it really was like they wrote this character. He's like, it's kind of like Thanos. He's like, I'll do it myself. It's fantastic. And he's really, really good in that role. And he's kind of built that whole universe of, I don't watch any of the other Power spin-off shows. I think the original is really, really good television, and I think everybody should go and watch it. But he really does seem to just love dunking on Diddy.
I think that 50 Cent is going to put on the Infinity Gauntlet and snap the rap industry out of existence. So yesterday he posted this promo image for the docuseries coming soon titled Diddy Do It. It's literally called Diddy Do It. And he said this is going to break records when it drops. Greenlight gang, you know the vibes. There's no further information, though. But we did originally talk about this when he announced it. And I guess everyone kind of memory hold the announcement because it's been months in the making.
So here's the thing. There was a person who made a mock-up of this documentary and called it a Netflix documentary that wasn't real. But apparently this one is. But it's the same promo image. So I don't know if he just took the promo image and borrowed it.
Or maybe the promo image was stolen from him.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. But he's been talking about this for a long time.
Also, with all of the conversation developing around the Diddy lawsuit and the raids, people are more so focusing their attention on Jay-Z right now. Mm-hmm. Talking about Jay-Z and an alleged mistress named Kathy White, who they believe that he put a hit out on her when she was pregnant with his child at the same time that Beyonce was pregnant with Blue Ivy. It's pretty crazy if you guys want to look into that yourselves. I don't want to get sued or anything. But Brett, you sent me this clip of 50 Cent on The Breakfast Club. And someone said 50 Cent has been telling us about P. Diddy.
Here we go.
Apparently it's been years in the making.
He says things, he doesn't even know what he's saying is like fruity.
Instant is going off.
When people say that to me, I get a little uncomfortable. I get uncomfortable. Like he said something to me one time, a long time ago, at Chris Lighty's wedding. He told me he'd take me shopping. I looked at him like, what'd you just say? Let me move, man, before I do something. You're gonna make me mess up the wedding.
Oh, that's a nice gesture.
Let me get out of no, dude, you take me. That's what a guy says to a girl.
I asked 50 about that, and he said you did the same thing to him. You asked him to take him shopping.
Yeah, I thought he needed some clothes. What? I'm a nice guy. He says things.
So
I don't see what's wrong with that.
50 Cent has
I mean,
been.
he's like, look, he's underdressed. Like,
Yeah, I feel like if anything, he's trying to insult him. But I don't know, like maybe
50
it's a dude
Cent.
thing.
It seems like 50 Cent has been calling out Diddy for his fruity behavior for years now.
there was also
Now it's all getting exposed.
on top of that, and this has become a thing that we keep making fun of, the all getting exposed stuff, because everyone makes every tweet and every post about how it's finally happening. It's all coming to pass. There was another one yesterday where like Denzel Washington knew about Jay-Z too. It's this video where they're like, I don't know, they were at like an NBA All-Star game or something, and Jay-Z's like trying to shake Denzel's hand. He's just like ignoring him.
There was another photo of Leonardo DiCaprio with Diddy, and then they posted next to it the video of young Leo with Brian Peck, the abuser who just got exposed at Nickelodeon, who abused Drake Bell. And that was a weird video of Brian Peck. He was like calling this young Leo, who was like, he must have been like 13 at the time. He was calling him hunky. Ew. Okay, that was a weird video. I'll grant you that. And Brian Peck, definitely a creep, certified convicted creep. But then the caption says, Leonardo DiCaprio was one of the premier guests at Diddy's honeypot freak-offs. And you can see that he had connections with Brian Peck at Nickelodeon. Was Leonardo DiCaprio groomed in Hollywood? And it's like all phrased with such bravado and such certainty and confidence in what you're saying, when really you're not saying anything at all. There's no actual proof. And I'm getting pissed off because I'm trying to actually learn about the facts.
This is exactly what I was talking about in that tweet the other day.
It's all conjecture right now, especially because these pending lawsuits against Diddy haven't even come to pass.
At this point now, if somebody says something happened, unless there's actual video of the person saying, I did in fact do that exact thing on that exact date in that exact way, I just don't buy anything anymore.
Or some kind of testimony from a witness, whatever. They don't even have that. It's just like, someone took a picture with Diddy once, we're implicating them because they took a picture with him.
Here's the Diddy looks nervous at the last event he was seen at in Hollywood.
Like, what is this supposed to tell us? There he is. He's just sitting there. He's just looking around, has sunglasses on.
What's in his hands? He's signing something? Is that a cigarette?
Probably a cigarette, I guess.
Okay, so I've been gone for like a week and a half, and I've missed so much. Is he being accused of grooming?
He's being accused of sex trafficking.
Cliff notes. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, he got raided by the FBI on Monday, by the Homeland Security investigators on Monday at 2 of his residences, and people thought that he was trying to escape police custody because his private jets were flying to Antigua, but apparently he wasn't on the jets.
Okay.
There was Diddy talking to feds at the airport as associate is arrested.
His associate being one of his sons?
It says, Diddy was face-to-face with federal agents Monday as they intercepted his plane, and TMZ now has a photo. Again, who are these people? Just giving TMZ everything. Check out the pic showing the rap mogul wearing a white t-shirt and blue pants as law enforcement surrounds him and the rest of his entourage. So this is his mule, I guess, that was arrested. The basketball player who played for Syracuse. Diddy got his back to the camera and doesn't appear to have been detained. You also see 25-year-old Brendan Paul in the mix, who was later arrested and booked on drug charges following a search. As we reported, cops say they found cocaine and weed in Paul's travel bag. He was booked and later released. We obtained another pic that shows the same gaggle of people. I love that they used gaggle in a sentence. On the tarmac, you don't see Diddy in this particular shot, much like the other photo we got of the exact scene, only from a different angle. But BP is right there once again in an unmistakable blue sweater.
So it seems like he might be in custody right now.
They have the innocent looking white boy carry the drugs, of course.
Is Diddy in custody?
No. The other guy was arrested.
Like, why is everyone but Diddy getting arrested right now?
I mean, that guy's job is probably literally to be the one who doesn't go
the fall guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like, you know,
I'm sure he's taken extensive steps.
You go and bring a bunch of drugs back from Mexico. You swallow a bunch of drug balloons in Mexico and come back to the U.S. You get somebody who looks like they're going to pass through customs without a second look.
I also saw this photo that Dom Luker posted of Diddy, Aaliyah, and Jay-Z. And the caption was just I need to read you guys the caption because it actually is going to cause me to fall into psychosis. So he said, everyone is shocked that Diddy has been accused of smuggling drugs, guns, and children, but I don't believe anyone is ready for when Diddy snitches and tells the world where Jay-Z has been going on his jet and what he has been doing with it. And then there's just a photo of him with Aaliyah. And then I'm like, okay, are you trying to suggest that Jay-Z or Diddy had a hand in Aaliyah dying in a plane crash?
And then I was telling Mary, I was like, I'm picturing Jay-Z with like a fake mustache and a wrench.
No, I literally said,
stuff on the plane.
Unless you post photo evidence of Jay-Z unscrewing bolts on Aaliyah's jet with a cartoonishly large wrench, miss me with that. Because I'm just tired of the conjecture. I don't know. Maybe I'm not built for like online conspiracy theories anymore because they're like ruining conspiracy for me.
I feel the same way. Like it's
like
all
pop
too much.
conspiracies. It's too. I don't know. I'm trying to find as much verifiable information as possible, and it's incredibly difficult to sparse through it.
But he's sold all his shares in Revolt.
Yeah, he also no longer owns Ciroc or any of his companies. All of his business ties have been cut off at this point.
He doesn't want to lose his assets.
It seems like, when you're foreseeing a federal seizure of your assets before it even happens, you're gonna start offloading all of them.
Which doesn't make him look
Which it makes it seem like he got a tip beforehand, before any of this happened.
Yeah.
Chili in the chat says everyone became an expert 4 years ago. I am very proudly not an expert in absolutely anything. I know nothing.
Except skating, maybe.
I know nothing, but I'm smart enough to know that I know nothing. It's a paradox.
Love that for you.
All right. How do you think all of so the other thing? So it's even worse. Is like they're like, and after Diddy comes Jay-Z, and then we know who it goes to next. Obama. Because Jay-Z and Obama were friends.
No, I literally saw someone say, everyone knows that Diddy has a long track record with Barack Obama. What the hell does that mean? What does it mean that everyone knows this? Everyone knows? Okay, he has a track record with Obama. Explain what that means. You have a track record. Does that mean you took a picture together once? Does that mean you went to an award show together once?
And let's even take the more cynical route, which is like, even if that's true, you know who's going to be the last person to actually get in trouble? The politician.
Okay.
You know the fall guy they always talk about? P. Diddy's the fall guy. Jay-Z will be the fall guy. Do you know who they're falling for? They're going to fall for the politicians and the businessmen with even bigger bank accounts.
Right.
I'm sure.
Right.
So it doesn't matter. None of this shit matters. It's fun to conjecture about, but if you read too much of this stuff online, it drives you nuts. I'm gonna bill Tim for my therapy sessions. That's what I'm gonna do.
Well, I'm happy that it seems Rodney Jones, the most recent accuser, is not going to accept a settlement out of court. I hope that I hope that lawsuit goes to trial and we can actually see some of the evidence.
Bravo Dave says Mary is too level-headed for Timcast Media.
I think that we're both level-headed. That's why we're losing our minds.
Is anyone not? Oh, Brett.
Well, one of my legs is actually longer than the other, so technically my head isn't level. It's actually at an angle a little bit because my shoulders would sit this way. So I'm not level-headed. And my eyes are two different colors, so it's like it's.
And one ear's deaf and one ear's not.
So I'm very much like a Picasso painting.
Fair enough.
So
Fair enough.
It's all just very, very, it's just a lot. Like I'm waiting for more like concrete evidence. His lawyer released a statement. They called out the military level force of the search and seizures and stuff like that. That's the type of stuff that unfortunately is just a lot less salacious than look at all of these other famous people that they're connected to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just going to have to wait and see.
We will. All right, let's go do some super chats. Let's get a second crisis party, guys.
Andrew Jacobs.
Sarah's back. We need a crisis party. Plus, I screwed up the first time. You guys should help us out.
We need a real one.
Andrew Jacobs said, Mary, thoughts on L. Chen's Christ is King space?
Yeah, how did you feel about that?
I am like ashamed to admit that I listened to that, actually. Like, I should have spent my time better. Because not a lot actually happened.
Well, a lot of people were saying it was like really good, and like a lot of people had a lot of great things to say. I'm like, I don't listen to Spaces.
Well, you saw someone say this is
it.
a really necessary conversation.
And I was just like, bro, no conversation that happens on Twitter is a necessary conversation.
What makes it necessary? What makes it necessary? I don't understand how that was necessary.
I could have just been in a bad
4
mood that
hours of people arguing about whether you can say Christ is king and not have it be a dog whistle.
I fully admit
for
that
what?
I'm a dummy, so maybe I'm just not big-brained enough to get all of it, but whatever.
No, I mean, yeah, I just don't think it was that interesting.
Did you listen to all 4 hours of it?
Yeah, I mean, I was doing other things.
Yeah, like
so
in the
it's not like I
background.
just sat there intently, like on the edge of my seat the whole time.
She's like this. She's like, come
Yeah,
on.
no.
What did Jeremy Boring say
I wasn't
next?
taking notes. Shane H. Wilder said, Happy Woman Wednesday to Brett, Mary, and Sarah. Brett, no repeats of last week when Dane Every Woman font was on. Yeah,
That
no
was insulted.
violence. No violence against women today, Brett.
What
It's not
happened?
allowed.
You wanna
So
talk about
last
it?
week, Dane made the mistake of slandering me to Mary, and I hit him with a Post-it note.
Oh my.
Well, actually, I hit him with a pack of Post-it
Like
notes.
right square in the face,
And
too. And it was loud.
It made a great sound. So I could do that
That's
if you want.
hilarious.
Dane was shocked.
Try me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he shook?
That's what he gets.
He was shooketh.
Do
Corey
2
Anderson said, Shane H. Wilder, you the real one. Great meme. I want to see this meme. Then he said, thanks, Corey. Yes, I got Mary's response to Corey's untoward super chats put in meme form. Currently working on a Brett Daddy's Home meme for tomorrow.
When I got home yesterday, Olivia definitely mentioned that. here's hold on, let me go to the
It was because we in the title yesterday for the live stream it said Diddy's home raided, and people thought that was referring to Brett saying Daddy's home
because I was off because we didn't
because
do
he
the
was
show
sick on Monday.
or unless it's this one, Corey trying to get Mary to say something untoward.
Is this on the Reddit?
Yep, this is on the Reddit.
Let's see.
Put your hands up. No.
What?
I said no.
Why not?
I don't want to.
But I've got a gun.
I don't care.
Doesn't make any sense.
Too bad.
There you go.
I have all the power.
You do.
I read the super chats. Terrence Rice said, "Ayo, somebody get Mary some allergy
your
eye
hands
drops."
So is that what it is? Is it allergies?
I don't have allergies. I think it's just the lights in here that I don't
Could
know.
it be like the pressure from your headphones?
I don't know.
right,
I don't
let's
know what
hold-
my problem is.
Let's hold off on the rest and let's come back after the fact. Let's talk about the great battle between Sopranos star Drea de Matteo and a guy named, hold on, let me check, Tim Pool.
Yes, Tim Pool, you might have heard of him. Barstool Sports did a report on this actress, Drea de Matteo. You might know her from The Sopranos or Sons of Anarchy, and she has reportedly made more in 1 month on OnlyFans than she did in her entirety earnings from Sopranos, which is kind of shocking.
I will point out before we start this segment, as an editor's note, that we are employed by the Tim Pool guy. In this
Yes, we are employed by Timothy Pool, who pointed out that women are becoming digital hookers. It's not something that you would find empowering if you asked a feminist in the 1960s. So Drea de Matteo made more in 1 month on OnlyFans than on The Sopranos. I guess prostitution on the internet is more lucrative than something that requires a skill set.
The real Hydro PX says Tim didn't waste 45 minutes talking about this. Yeah, well, we can talk about whatever we want. And if you want to spend 45 minutes
We're
talking
in
about
charge.
this, we can do that.
We're in charge here. So Tim responded to this headline. He said, "Women deciding to be hookers instead of having jobs is an arc I didn't expect feminism to take." And this really triggered Drea de Matteo.
Wait, so is that really all that hard to believe? I thought feminists were sex positive. And sex work positive for the most part. I know there is such a thing as SWERFs.
Okay, there are different
sex work exclusionary radical feminists. I
there
know
are
that that's a
different
thing.
waves of feminism.
Yeah, there's so many different
I think
branches
Tim is
now.
trying to point out that first or second wave feminists, they might not think women prostituting themselves is empowering as they do in this day and age. So this response really triggered Drea de Matteo, clearly. Here was her response. "Well, I'm glad Timcast clarified that I'm a hooker and he's a C word. Keep saving America with your big influential platform by taking cheap shots at struggling single moms. Tough guy. Super cool skater shit, bro. Signed, the hooker of Hollywood. With a bunch of emojis.
Look.
So she's calling herself a struggling single mom, even though she has a net worth of multiple millions of dollars.
Again, I don't know whether you can trust any of that. Online disclosures of people's net worth are oftentimes wrong.
Whatever. And then Tim shot back and said, I don't see why it would be offensive to point out that selling sex on OnlyFans is hooking. What about pointing out that women are quitting their jobs to do sex work is C-word worthy? Y'all should be proud of the work you do. Now, to be fair, I never explicitly called you a hooker, because maybe you just post selfies on OnlyFans or something. But to be fair, I am implicitly calling you and women who use OF hookers. Which I think is perfectly fair, and I do call it digital prostitution for a reason.
Can I just want to ask like a neutral question here, because what it seems like it comes down to is the label behind it, right? So if there's a disconnect on what OnlyFans means to people, right? Like if it's not sex work, what is a label you'd prefer? I know that they prefer the term model. And then you get into the argument about, if you're modeling, you're modeling for a company, right? Your sex appeal is for sale for a brand, which would be different than your sex appeal. And I'm saying this because I don't think she posts nudes, right? Okay. So
I have no idea what she posts.
Your sex appeal is on sale for a brand, as opposed to your sex appeal being on sale for your own income, are different things. What's different? She also makes it about punching down, which I in this space, I don't really care if you punch up or down on any of those things, but it really feels like it falls back onto a label problem. Many women who do porn, as in not OnlyFans, but like straight up porn, they embrace the labels people call them because they know that they're not going to escape it. It's just going to be something that they're going to be saddled with. But what it comes down to is like when she's talking about it, and then we'll get into Leah McSweeney, who basically says, she's not a hooker, but even if she was, there's nothing wrong with that. And as somebody who's like consenting adults, I actually don't care. But if you didn't think there was something wrong with it, why would you preface this?
Well, okay, right. The obvious answer is they do think there's something wrong with it. They are ashamed of what they're doing. Women on OnlyFans are offended when people compare it to prostitution and being a hooker.
Yeah.
But that is exactly what it is. And if you're offended by that, you clearly think that there's something shameful about what you're doing. And I looked at her OnlyFans page just now. Her bio says, the Sopornos. And then it says, special just for you. Come get to know the Italian stallion. This is just so cheap. This is cheap behavior. And you expect to be treated like a lady. And also, by the way, this woman is in her 50s. Grow up. Like, if you're in your 50s, why are you so easily triggered and intimidated by someone just calling it what it is? Call a spade a spade.
Yep. She's in her 50s. How young are her kids then?
Well, actually, I listened to an interview that she did where I listened to her on Adam Carolla. She was interviewed and she said that she wouldn't want her daughter to do what she does. She has a teenage daughter who I assume is like 15 years old. And they asked her about her doing OnlyFans and would she want her daughter to do the same, or would she be okay with her daughter doing the same thing that she does? And she was like, no, like she should definitely do something that's more worth her time, like something that would actually require her to have an education and have skills. So clearly, again, you think that there's something wrong with what you're doing.
Right. It's not like Tim put down hookers. He literally just made a statement about hookers. He used the word and she got triggered.
Yeah, and then he also tweeted like, no one would call me a conservative. Like, that's an insult to conservatives. He's not moralizing about it. He's just being a realist.
And he was talking more about its arc in feminism than morally saying that it was wrong.
Right, exactly. But they're not capable of hearing logical statements about it. They just want to be affirmed and celebrated no matter what.
In the chat saying that she was going to lose her house and we should leave her alone. Look, she's making her money. That's fine.
I do not care what your justification is for prostituting yourself on the internet. Tell me your sob story. I don't care.
It was also okay. So
I do not care.
She also pointed out. She says, "You're right, Tim. America is on fire because of know-it-all a-holes like you focusing on the most unimportant social issues that divide us. OnlyFans, give me an effing break. Why do you even care?" So that's one of those things. Like, first of all, he's not a conservative, but to many conservatives, it is an important issue.
Here's her full statement.
This is one of those things where me and Mary
Clearly
differ. Like Mary loves to talk about this topic, and it's very important to her, right? I'm one of those people where for whatever reason, I'm like, I enjoy having these conversations and I enjoy talking about it, but it's not the most important issue to me. But to act like it's not an important issue is like a blanket statement saying that nobody cares about it. That's not really fair.
It's
right?
gaslighting.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to do something outrageous and disgusting, and when you react, I'm going to act like you're crazy.
Sketch therapy's right. He says, "Why are you talking about this?" Well, there's a genocide going on in Gaza.
Oh, we have so many big issues to worry
I'm
about.
sure we could find a way to connect.
So here was her full statement. She went to her Instagram stories and wrote this whole essay.
About Tim?
About Tim. She literally said this. Tim Fool. Not only did I not know that the great Tim Pool was an expert on feminism and hookers, I also didn't know he was a part of the hypocrisy problem in America. Here's another mean-spirited, judgmental, holier-than-thou mouthpiece who didn't even bother to research his subject before firing off his disdain. He sounds exactly like the full-blown lefties he lambasts. They should hire him on CNN. You're right, Tim. America is on fire because of know-it-all a-holes like you focusing on the most unimportant social issues that divide us. OnlyFans, give me an effing break. Why do you even care? Bet we have more in common than not, but hey, get your BS bully slander on and exercise your freedom of speech while it's still legal. Bet this BS tweet brought you one step closer to saving America. And while I'm here, let me defend all the women who don't have the luxury to fit into your good girl box. Don't judge any effing person till you've lived their lives and know where they came from. It's ignorant, irresponsible, and lazy. I worked my balls off my whole life and took care of many people with my earnings. I chose to bow out of a divided cancel culture system that didn't work, and guess who the new face of that is? Congrats, Tim. It's you, buddy.
I don't think he said anything about her not deserving to make a living.
Mm-hmm. He literally just said it's ironic that feminists foresaw this future where women would be emancipated from the need to appeal to men in order to survive. Mm-hmm. Even though that was delusional in the first place. And now we're in a culture that celebrates that behavior, celebrates being slavishly devoted to the praise and affection and attention of men as a form of feminist empowerment. That was his ultimate point, is that it is hypocritical. Right. And she just went off into this full rant because, first of all, she has Tim Pool derangement syndrome, but also isn't capable of taking an ounce of criticism for what she does. Especially as someone who is trying to build themselves as a pro-free speech advocate or whatever, who thinks that, you know, we need more speech, not less, and like bad ideas need exposure in order to be refuted.
I think the best option would have been to just have her on the culture war. And talk about this.
That would be interesting.
And you know he would love to do that.
I feel like they would agree on more things than they would disagree
that's
on.
One of the things I was talking about the other day. I said the sad thing is when a lot of people come on the culture war. I think when Rollo Tomasi was here, he said like they end up agreeing on 80% of the issues and on 20% they disagree. Well, people make their bones with that 20%, right? So if you and this guy have 80% in common, but vastly different audiences, it's because that 20% is what really matters to your various audiences. And that's fine. You can talk about the things you disagree with, or maybe you can even just pal around and talk about the things you agree with. But this is a problem for a lot of people, is that like if you can't even have a back and forth about this, because it was such a long response in response to his tweet, Like, it would have been better to be like, can I come on Culture War and talk to you about this? And I think that they would have ended up getting along better. And I think that he would still be willing to do that now.
Right. She probably has no clue what the culture war is, but this would be a great opportunity.
I would love to have her on PCC. We could reach out. I would be totally, if she'd be willing to come on, like, we could sit here and talk about whatever. And we could dunk on Hollywood. We could talk about stupid stories on the internet. And I think we'd all have a lot of fun. And Mary and her would disagree on certain things. And that's what it is. But it's just shocking to me that people don't realize that you have more that you can agree on than disagree. And this is the problem with the big tent, right? That since 2016, it's supposedly a big tent with all of these people from various different parts of what is now considered the right, which means it's, your traditional conservatives, people that are just anti-woke, as much as I hate that term, and all of these things. And you agree on some things, you disagree on others, but it just ends up getting bogged down in a whole lot of back and forth that isn't really all that consequential. I saw that, I think it was Adrian Norman was saying, like, look, right now, conservatives are arguing about whether Christ is King is a dog whistle, and the left is hitting Trump with millions of dollars in bills and doing everything to try and take this dude off the ballot because they coalesce around their ideas. It's like nobody on this side can even get past the arguing to do anything. So I don't know how you save anything when nobody can even get together and have a discussion without arguing about everything.
Well, I think that this is an exception because she clearly lashed out. She lashed out because she's defensive about doing OnlyFans.
Yeah.
She doesn't feel good about her decision. And you get just one little push, like one pushback. And you have to write a novel in response. It just makes you look unhinged. And then this went even further because one of the Real Housewives got involved, Leah McSweeney. She made a video on Instagram calling out Tim. Do you have the video?
I had it here. Yeah, hold on. Let me.
I leave for 1 week.
She said, Tim Pool can F all the way off for calling my girl Drea a hooker.
I want to have a discussion. Like, okay, so what's the term that they want to use? I'm fine. You want to give me a term?
No.
You want to change?
No, I'm not going to use your preferred pronouns. I'm not going to use your preferred
language.
Is it this one here? I don't think it's this. I don't have the. No, I don't have the.
It's definitely an article.
We have it somewhere here.
It's
Come on.
Oh, here it is. Here we go.
Tim Pool can all the way off for calling my girl Drea, my queen Drea, a hooker. Not that there's anything wrong with being a hooker, but that's not what she is. And how dare you call her?
Again, I'm asking you.
I love how she goes, not that there's anything wrong with being a hooker, but how dare you call her? Like, come on.
OnlyFans account. You
come on.
Motherfucker, you don't know where a clitoris is and you've never made a woman come. And I always thought you were kind of like trying to find the truth, but instead you're just a shill. I am PMSing this week. Also subscribe to my OnlyFans. The link is in my bio, and there's amazing content with Drea. Tim, you should actually go subscribe.
Okay, so let me know. Do you think that your OnlyFans subscribers know where the clitoris is? Do you think that they are chads who get a ton of action in their bedrooms? Do you think that your OnlyFans subscribers who are jacking off to you as a digital prostitute are ladies' men who get all of the action, all of the attention from women?
Yep.
Really?
Right.
Really?
Yep.
Some of whom are probably married and doing this behind their wives' backs. And,
Be real.
Not the cream of the crop.
But it's just so ironic how she's like, not that there's anything wrong with being a hooker, but how dare you call my friend a hooker?
They subscribe to the belief that you can't insult anyone ever and that everyone should mind their own business all the time. But in this space, most of what you do is have commentary and talk about current events and things. That's when it falls under punching up or punching down, right? So he's not allowed to do so because he has a larger platform, therefore he can't punch down because she's a single mother, which is a framing.
So he can't even state fact because he has a larger platform.
Again, and the size of the response tells you
But she literally just said that she thinks hooker isn't an insult. So why would you be mad that someone called you that?
Yep.
It's like if someone mistook you for, I mean, I don't know, someone thought you were a waitress, but actually you're a hostess. But it's not like that, because obviously these words carry extreme weight with women who are ashamed of how much they're degrading themselves.
Right.
We got a $20 from Nate. The right incessantly bickering about the 20% that separates us is why we lose. There is absolutely a right-wing purity, catfight, cancel culture. We can't fight the left while we fight each other.
It's because there's more inherent individualism on the right.
Thank
and
you.
The left is more willing to fall in line.
Look, I'm saying if there's any hill to die on for who should represent the conservative right, it should probably not be hookers. Is that a crazy hill to die on? Am I talking crazy?
Well,
Am I taking crazy pills?
Like, Tim is pigeonholed into being a conservative.
He's also not, and he doesn't call himself
not even
that.
remotely conservative or traditional or any of these things.
Yep. And the size of the response and the vitriol in the response tells you a lot of what you need to know from this.
It's like, it reminds me of like when girls operate in an echo chamber and they go and talk to their girlfriends about one thing that their boyfriend or their husband did that really wasn't even that bad. Or like if he's like, hey, like, I don't want you to hang out with this one guy friend anymore. It's making me a little uncomfortable. And the girl goes and talks to her friends about it. And she's like, hey, like, is this normal? Like, he doesn't want me to hang out with this guy. And the girl's like, oh my gosh, queen, leave him. He's so controlling. It's kind of like this over the top response to something that's very like benign. In my opinion.
Well, clearly, you know, it's not benign to them because they're just like virulently defensive.
I would have. I guess I would have had more respect if she just ignored him.
These women don't have self-respect.
Yeah.
Okay, they don't have self-respect because they're doing something that is obviously so degrading to their person,
and very emotionally immature.
Everyone will know that when they're doing it. They will know that on a spiritual level. That is why they lash out. That's why I have had, you know, some of these women on the Whatever podcast lash out at me and gang up on me and try to shame me out of saying that, because they know I don't even need to tell them that what they're doing is wrong. They already know.
I mean, Mary, let me ask you, like, how many times or have you ever been made fun of or put down because of your faith?
I mean, do you mean online or in person, like real life interactions?
I guess just in general.
Like online, plenty.
Yeah. And
in
like,
real life, less, obviously.
Right. But do you like lash out and make video responses to every single one?
No.
Right.
I don't even think one.
Right. Because it's something that you are proud of, or it's just kind of like part of your life. It's not something that you're secretly like deep down ashamed of or don't feel like are embarrassed about or something. So I feel like if you kind of have that little shame in the background, that's usually what causes people to lash out about being insulted or made fun of something, because they secretly think it's true.
That's what pride parades are. It's like something that you're ashamed of. You have to rationalize it as your identity.
I think a lot of this is also, for me, I guess I try to think more pragmatically, which is like people labeling you as this or that is never going to change. Like, I will now be labeled as right wing despite the fact that I'm not right wing, and she's going to be labeled a certain way whether she likes it or not, and you're not going to be able to control whether society sees that as a good or a bad thing. So the best question you can ask yourself is this a good allocation of my time and mental capacity to get in this fight about this? The argument could be made that everybody wins in this. They both get their online engagement. These articles were written. We're talking about it on here. Everybody got what they wanted out of this situation.
Right.
Right?
Sure.
But when people bring this stuff to me, the last thing I'm going to do is just argue with you, because I don't have the time of day or the mental capacity to argue with you about what your labeling of my political beliefs based on a podcast about pop culture says about me. I don't really care because I can't change it. It doesn't make any sense. Maybe that's a guy thing.
I think it's more of like people reading this are impressionable. It's not necessarily that Tim is going to change Drea's mind or Drea is going to change Tim's mind, right? That's the idea behind it. Yes, at the same time, there is always that perk whenever something like this happens that you're getting more clout, you're getting more engagement, yada, yada, yada. But that's just kind of like 10% of the entire larger conversation that I think is going going on, it's the trickle down effect that people care about. I would like to think.
Yeah, and does I'm sure she gained more than a few subscribers out of this, and my guess would be that Tim doesn't care one way or the other whether she does or not.
Yeah, basically.
It doesn't matter to him. Something like
Right.
that. And in the idea that you can't talk about these things or you can't punch down, like his whole job is to analyze culture. Right now, a big question, a big topic of culture is OnlyFans and its effect on society. And most of the time, what's funny about it is I would think of him as being more analytical in his approach to these things anyways. Sure, he uses Twitter to get like incendiary with some of his tweets to get a reaction. Like he's tweeting things about, he'll tweet one thing and then he'll tweet the opposite thing to see what the reactions are. It's kind of like a mad scientist. But it's like, I just don't get why. It's like you've given him all the power by letting it bother you that bad.
Right. It's not personal.
Yeah.
She's taking it very personal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim should just make his own OnlyFans. That's what he should do. And see who can get more subscribers.
Okay, Corey Anderson said Krispy Kreme McChicken. That I'm not willing to get behind.
Oh.
I think the Krispy Kreme McGriddle is the move. Bucky Ducky said, Mary, you're tweeting a lot of boobs for someone scared of them.
What boobs did you tweet?
When we were making the Sydney Sweeney thumbnail earlier.
Oh.
me and Mary were literally...
Who said I'm scared of boobs? I do have
Mary
to
wakes
look at
up
them
every
every
day,
day,
it's like,
by the way.
She looks down, she goes, ah!
I'm literally just cowering in fear.
Well, no, never mind. Continue.
Okay, High Voltage 75 said, In-N-Out fan, Sarah?
Yes, I am.
Did
I'm
you
not
go?
that big of a fan. It happened to be near the airport when I was picking my brother up, and I got it. But I honestly do Jack in the Box over In-N-Out.
Boosted Yogi said, nah, disrespectfully to Mary, In-N-Out is where it's at. I just think that In-N-Out is overrated because the fries are bad.
Let's do one more.
Nate said, Mary is right. McDonald's is horrible except for breakfast, which is terrible, but I love it.
There you go.
It's not terrible. Be proud of McDonald's breakfasts.
All right, Mary.
Lovely.
I haven't had it in a long time. Remember when they brought it back and they made it like all day again? I felt like that kind of destroyed
You
the
can't
ambiance.
like give that to us and then take it away.
away.
You can't do that.
Everyone
I will never
else
forgive
does
it.
breakfast all day, but McDonald's has the best breakfast, and they don't do all day breakfasts.
Because they hate us.
Yes.
That's why.
It hurts.
All right, Mary, you're going to have to tell everybody what the hell is going on with Eva Mendes.
Yeah, Ryan Gosling's wife, Eva Mendes, recently did an interview where she explained her decision to step back from her acting career and to be a stay-at-home mom and a wife. While Ryan Gosling was out making a name for himself as an A-lister, she decided to take a step back from the public eye and focus on raising her children, which in the feminist worldview is supposed to be a good thing. It's a woman choosing to do what is best for her.
No.
But-
you're technically right, but no.
Unfortunately, feminists are not actually consistent in what they believe, so they attacked her for saying this.
Should we watch the video?
Let's take a look at her comment.
It was like a no-brainer. I'm so lucky. And I was like, if I can have this time with my children, and I still worked, I just didn't act because acting takes you on locations, it takes you away. It was almost just like a non-verbal agreement that it was like, okay, he's gonna work and I'm gonna work. I'm just gonna work here. It was like a...
That's like the most win-win situation ever.
Yeah.
And they're still mad.
I think that the reality here is Eva Mendes has more freedom than most stay-at-home moms and most working women.
Yep.
She has more freedom than both of those camps because, as she just said, she doesn't have to go out on acting jobs. She can work, like run a business from her house and also have employees who do work for her.
Right.
And, at will, do whatever she wants. She has unlimited help and resources for taking care of her kids. So it's not like we're even judging this on the basis of what other women should do. This is just her saying what she individually decided was best. It's interesting. I think people are actually taking offense to her saying, we had a non-verbal agreement. Like, it was just understood between Eva Mendes and Ryan Gosling, like, this is what's going to happen when we start a family together, instead of having some kind of written contract to decide that.
He comes up and he goes,
I mean,
here,
it's like,
Sign this.
sign this.
she's saying it's a non-verbal agreement because they just allowed themselves to sit back into the roles that they're naturally suited for. They allowed themselves to do what they are best at given their biological and spiritual roles in a family.
And God forbid she actually prefer hanging out with her own children than going and shooting movies for a living.
Yeah, so here were some of the responses from feminists. Let's dissect how marriage took away one of the greatest actresses of our time.
Okay,
let's be real. Sorry.
Flag on the play. Look, you can make your comment without such ridiculous levels of hyperbole. I love Eva Mendes as much as the next guy. Calling her, what was it?
One of the greatest actresses of our time.
Wasn't she known for like being kind of a bad actress?
Yes, when I watch Too Fast, Too Furious, I cry sometimes.
Whatever. That was their opinion.
It's the white sweatsuit that did it for me.
But yeah, marriage took away one of the greatest actresses of our time. Women always have automatically become the default parent and have to sacrifice their life so the man doesn't have to, and people wonder why birth rates are going down. So they think that birth rates are declining in the West because women are angry that they are expected not to work. That is quite literally the opposite of the reality of this situation, which is that you can barely survive on a one-income household. So maybe birth rates are going down because people see less options to be financially stable and have one parent spending time with the kids. I think that's a way better explanation, but not according to the feminists. Another said, it's always women sacrificing their career by default to be the main parent, while you'll never see a male equivalent of this.
See, here's the problem. They're assuming that it's by default and not a conversation that actually had between the two of them.
I think it is by default.
Maybe the better question to ask is who was making more money before this happened?
Oh, I'm sure it was Ryan Gosling. When did they get married? Do you know?
I don't know. But I'm just saying in general, right? The better question would be like, which person is pulling in more income?
Ryan Gosling and Eva Mendes are publicly known as one of the happiest couples in Hollywood, along with Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds.
Is somebody saying that she was in American Gangster? Who the hell was she in American Gangster?
I don't know.
She definitely wasn't the beauty queen.
But I think that them saying it's the default is actually true because here Eva Mendes is saying she is doing what she was biologically compelled to do, which is that she didn't want to be away from her kids. That's just the default setting for most people when they're not actively fighting what their biology is compelling them to do. So they didn't really need to have this like complex conversation or like a legal contract about it. It's just, doing what actually makes sense. Another one said, a woman decides the job that takes her away from home is something she doesn't want to do as a mom, so she works where she can be at home with her babies, and folks are acting like she just gave up her life for a man. This lady has multiple businesses and gets to come home to her babies like she wants. I love it when people live the lives they want. This is the same take. Because actually, Eva Mendes isn't a trad wife. She is a very public person. She goes to red carpet events with Ryan Gosling, and she owns multiple businesses, which means she actually is contributing to her household income. A trad wife is just supposed to be, barefoot in the kitchen all day. And if she were doing that, that would be fine too. But by, I guess, Hollywood standards or by feminist standards, she is basically living in a cage. She's living in a dungeon with her babies. And Ryan Gosling comes home and he beats her because she burnt dinner. That's what they picture Eva Mendes is going through on a day-to-day basis.
Which is, of course, a problem where everybody has these exaggerated images of what it means to be this or that.
I think that the influencers selling themselves as trad wives are actually part of the problem in that regard. So, Brett, you sent me this TikTok from a girl named Esty Williams, and she kind of, dresses in this 1950s style, and she has like the Marilyn Monroe bob. And she makes content about her marriage and how she's a housewife. And it caused quite a stir on TikTok.
Let's watch this video.
Yeah. This was her advice for becoming a traditional wife.
Welcome back to part 2 of some conventional or unconventional things me and my husband do in our marriage. So the first one is I don't leave the house after dark by myself. This is not a control thing. This is a safety thing. I've had a couple encounters and I don't wish to have any more. Along with leaving the house, I always notify my husband when I'm going to go somewhere and when I arrive. It's safety. Why not, right? And we always share locations with each other. I really recommend the Life 360 app. It notifies you when your partner arrives or leaves, and it notifies you if their battery is low. I love it. Number 2.
I'm sorry, before we go on, I love that she doesn't cut out her reaching for the phone to turn it to Kit Cut.
Yeah.
She just leaves it in there. Like, that's my favorite part of this. In my mind, she actually didn't record any of this multiple times. She just dropped literally everyone from the camera roll in one timeline.
Opposite sex friendships. I don't think a woman needs to have a male best friend. Why? Any companionship or company that I need, I can get from another woman. Number 3, and this one's gonna ruffle some feathers. I submit and I serve my husband. This is a biblical thing, so don't twist this into something that it's not. It is a blessing to be my husband's helpmate, and the Bible has the man of the household, not the woman, so he leads. Number 4, we don't involve any outsiders or family members into our disputes. This is important because arguments, disagreements, whatever, need to stay within the marriage, and when you involve other people, it causes more issues, and most likely people choose sides, and you just don't want that. Number 5, I take my husband's preferences into consideration. So with my hair, my clothes, I like to wear the things that he likes, and typically he's not going to like something that is so outside of my norm. He's going to like the things that he sees me happiest in, and that's usually pink and bright colors, and he loves my hair more naturally curly, so that's what I do most of the time. A lot of the comments in my other video, people were asking what does he do for me, and I just want to correct you guys on something. A lot of Western women don't sit here and think, what can I do to make my man happy? No, they think, what is he going to do to make me happy? You guys don't understand the benefits that you reap when you think about your partner before yourself.
She's literally JFK. She's like, ask not what your partner can do for you, but what you can do for your partner.
What do you guys think? And comment what other videos you want to see on traditional.
I'm picturing a guy right now, picturing like her face on a tablet, and he's showing it to his wife. He goes, see, it's biblical.
Someone commented, my 3 sons told me this girl is a fetish. When I asked what they meant by that, they told me she wasn't real. She does and says everything that is a fantasy to make money and fulfills many people's fetish, I guess, fantasies. At this point, I'm too old to understand the current reality.
I don't think
Another one
that's,
said this is 100% kink role play.
I don't think that that's an unfair question to ask. Like, look, as soon as it becomes a social media profile and you start getting lots of followers, it leaves the realm of just between you and your husband, and it is now something that is being watched upon by lots and lots of people. Now, perhaps you do wear pink every day, but perhaps there's outfits you just wear for making these videos. It's fair to point out that the internet has changed these types of dynamics, and this absolutely portrays, at the very least, the most positive aspects of this type of lifestyle. I think that a lot of those advice, like the part about not involving your family in disputes, how do you feel about that?
Super red flag.
That not involving, okay, okay, why?
Not every dispute, but sometimes she said to not involve anyone, not just your own family.
Oh, well, yeah, that's, I don't know. I mean, it's like, I've heard that advice from other people before, like other married people before, because at some points, like maybe you have friends that want to feed into resentments or something like destructive like that. So
I would say 9 times out of 10, yeah, you should definitely keep it between you two. But I think saying don't ever talk to other people about something, maybe if you have a question or you need advice,
for the most part, everything that she said in that video is pretty solid advice. It's pretty normal stuff that at least most Christian people would agree with, especially when she got into like the biblical basis for the dynamic of the relationship.
Guys everywhere
However,
are like, see, it's in the Bible. You should submit to me.
The reason that people are attacking this woman is because of her appearance, obviously, right? It's because
I can see a couple of reasons why they're attacking
she's
her.
being very soft-spoken. She's doing this kind of Marilyn Monroe affect and dresses in this way that definitely looks contrived,
right?
And not like it looks like she like found her personality on Pinterest, and it doesn't ring true to people when they see that, even though every word that you're saying makes sense.
It's very uncanny valley.
It freaks people out, and I understand that.
Yeah,
I do.
It seems like she's playing a character more than it being true and genuine, which doesn't again make anything that she said not just as good advice as it was, but
then again, like, how would we know whether it's a character? I'm not going to pretend I know.
But an interesting question about that is, like, in these industries, whether it's OnlyFans or porn, these types of themes come up because there's a demand for it, right? Like, I remember reading a thing where it said, like, remember the story about the lady who talked about how she could predict a recession because she was a stripper and she could predict a recession.
Oh, yeah.
So he said you can predict social trends based on porn themes, and they're saying like there's no babysitter themes anymore because people can't afford to have all the families are divorced and all these things, so it goes out of fashion, right? So what is it about the idea of a trad wife in 2024 that is so enticing to people that it is now become something that's fetishized?
Yeah. It's become a rarity.
Yeah, that's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's because it's so scarce.
Yes,
at least in
exactly.
America, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like unusual to see a woman like that and be proud of it.
And the men don't know how to behave in a way that attracts women who want to behave this way, nor how to ask for what they want in a way that actually can get women to submit to them in the relationship sense.
Right.
So they're playing out a fantasy through these TikTok videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And feminism and Me Too have played a huge role in that, and why men are so terrified to be assertive.
Like, women are raging
marriage
in her
laws.
comment section because they hear this message and like they're not receptive to it because they're looking around at the men in society and they're like, who deserves this?
Yeah.
And I think that is totally fair.
Yes.
And I think that's totally fair from men too. Like, they're thinking, who deserves for me to be traditional when, like, look around at these bitches? Like, I think everyone has reason to feel resentful of the opposite sex.
Yes.
But you really need to return to reality, stop inundating yourself with all of this exaggerated content on social media, and you only need to find one person. Like, you don't need to find a woman who represents the collective of all women in society. You're just trying to find one person for you.
I did,
and that's the white pill, I think.
She mentioned like the tracking app, but I guess she did say we both use it, so they can both be tracked wherever they go. I'm gonna just put an air tag on myself and be tracked wherever I go.
I don't know. Do you think that's toxic?
I don't think I think it's polite in good karma to like be open about where you're going with your partner. I'm not saying that you have to
but the tracking,
tell them.
The tracking
that's.
part.
I mean, I think that's weird, but I wouldn't use it. But I
mean, I know they say like it's about safety, and yes, it's about safety, but it's also about cheating. Obviously, like you can't just pretend it's only about making sure you're alive.
For some people, I think. I mean, any person that I've ever dated, seriously, I am sharing all of my locations with you, even if you can't share yours with me. Like, say if they don't have an iPhone, they can't share their location with me, or like if I take a Lyft or if I take an Uber, I have it connected to their phone number, to their email address or whatever.
Sure.
I don't think it's weird.
I don't think anything she said is outright weird. I think her account is weird.
There's a Chris Rock bit where he talks about about how he got caught cheating. He goes, woman found 2 condoms in my pocket, but there's a pack of 3. And all she kept asking is, where's the other condom? And then at the end, he tells her, and he admits to it. He's like, if she tells you to break up, run. You got off lucky. But he's like, you're almost at the door, and she stops you. Wait, let's work it out.
Oh, no.
And then he's like, you're not getting anywhere because she's getting you a cell phone, a beeper, a pager. And then it's like, And the whole thing's about how she's basically going to turn you into LoJack so that she knows where you are 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And I mean, for me, like the only reason I feel like I would want to track my significant other is because I would worry, like if I don't hear from them or they're not home yet. But if you need to track your significant other because you're worried about them cheating, I mean, obviously there's different circumstances, but there's way bigger problems.
You just wake up one day and she's got an ankle monitor on you. And if you cut it off, it starts beeping really loudly and sends a signal to the police.
Some guys are into that.
All right.
Go to Super Chats.
Let's get another crisis party, guys.
Jake Martin said sparkling hot dog water equals glizzy fizzy.
Oh.
Nice.
See, they really missed an opportunity there. Shane H. Wilder said Jones Soda used to have a Thanksgiving soda pack of turkey and gravy flavored soda. It sounded and looked disgusting.
Ew.
Yeah.
Remember when I just saw something the other day, Mary? Remember when we had like the gross ice cream flavors? Here was like right when you started working here.
Yes, I remember. I tried the mac and cheese ice cream and it was terrible. Yeah. Dylan Selking said glizzy goblins gobbling glizzies gulp glizzy water.
Wow, you said that all very perfectly. That was fantastic.
Laxup said, I'm starting to think that all these disgusting flavor ideas are coming from immigrants who stereotype American eating habits and somehow get it right.
Fair point.
I'm a little offended.
Let's do one more.
Sorenko Productions said there's actually a website called McBroken that tells you if the machine is broken at any McDonald's in the U.S.
Somebody's doing God's work.
There's no way that that actually works.
Like, I like the idea that every day some poor manager has to go in and like enter it into the system.
No, sounds fake.
Let's hold off on the rest. Let's come back after the fact. Mary, you're going to have to tell everybody, is Sydney Sweeney implicitly right wing?
Obviously, Sydney Sweeney has been politicized quite a lot, as well as her appearance. Everyone said that she was going to end wokeness single-handedly when she hosted the SNL skits and had her cleavage out, and it was like, her boobs are just going to end wokeness, guys. It's all getting exposed. And, I think people are being dramatic for no reason, but let's actually entertain the argument.
Well, somebody wrote this as a tweet, right? It was some guy named Richard
Hanania.
I
think I've heard of him before, actually.
It's like Hilaria.
Yeah. He presents the case for Sydney Sweeney being right wing.
The better question is, does she need to be? How about she's left wing and you just don't care because you just like to look at her? That's fine.
Yeah, I don't know why that can't be.
What's wrong with that?
The case, you know?
Like, why does everything have to be said through the political lens of what you affiliate with? That makes you a dork.
Yeah.
It really does. You should be shoved into a locker.
I think that it's refreshing to see a celebrity who's not openly hateful toward people who are right wing, which you can assume that would be her family members.
When we saw the thing the other day, she's like, I just love ice cream. I was like cookies and cream ice cream. I'm like, she's just like Googling what do men like and then just saying what men like. And guess what? That's fine.
I think it's because she like represents some kind of normality.
Yes, she does. Of a time past.
Yes.
When egos were small and chests were big.
You would expect a young actress to be liberal, but in this case, there's a good amount of countervailing evidence.
Not really.
So here's the evidence.
I love that this is a thing.
She grew up in Northwest Idaho in a religious family. Her family turned out to be a bunch of MAGAs, with her dad wearing one of those blue line flag shirts. I don't know. I never saw the blue line shirt on her dad, but that was actually a thing that got her in trouble.
First of all, that doesn't matter because plenty of people who grow up in those families then go completely the opposite way.
True.
Because that means nothing.
True.
That means nothing.
But it seems like she still loves her family and doesn't want to throw them under the bus.
So she's not an ideologue.
Right. So she defended her mom and she defended the MAGA hats.
She's not Jennifer Lawrence.
She's definitely not someone with like TDS real bad like Jennifer Lawrence. She's not outspokenly pro-choice or anything as far as I know. It says once that came out, she didn't denounce her family or give her money to BLM or anything. She's never said anything left-wing. In Hollywood, liberals have an incentive to express political opinions, while you'd expect conservatives to stay quiet. This was the theory behind Taylor Swift circa 2015, and I suspect that Swift was more conservative-leaning back then, but like a lot of young women, she moved left during the Trump era.
CB says she's not right-wing, she's right-schwing. Yes! We should make that the thumbnail.
Is it actually true that Sydney Sweeney has never said anything left wing?
I don't know. Who cares?
I'm
guessing most people aren't listening to what she's saying anyways.
She just showed up to the GLAAD Awards, which is the the Gay and Lesbian Association Awards. They're the ones that like track the gay representation in every TV show and movie every year. So yeah, and she also has openly said that she identifies as queer. Also with her new movie Immaculate, she said that it is meant to be metaphorical for abortion. So, but she didn't make a political statement about abortion in the process. So similar to Margot Robbie, she does stay silent when it matters on political issues.
Which just makes her smart.
Yeah.
I'm ending the poll since we're in this question right now. I said, is Sydney Sweeney implicitly right-wing? 58% of you say no.
Surprisingly split, though.
41% say yes.
Guys, present your arguments. If you voted yes, I want to know why. Another one said, the argument against this theory is that she just did a movie mocking Catholicism. I think we can reconcile this by classifying Sweeney as a member of the Nietzschean right. Like, can you imagine being this much of a dork?
My favorite trend right now is people putting like philosophy and political quotes next to pictures of her and just saying she said it.
They like, put Hitler quotes over Taylor Swift.
They were like, I think they said it was like stuff about like Rothbardian economics.
Yeah.
And just attributes it to Sydney Sweeney.
That was done to Taylor Swift before it was done to Sydney Sweeney. They would use images of Taylor Swift and then put Hitler quotes over it like Taylor Swift is the one that said it. Seriously. And that was before Taylor Swift came out openly as left-wing. Pro-sex, pro-beauty, and hostile to both Christianity and leftism as two manifestations of human weakness. This would also explain the GLAAD Awards, since gay men in Hollywood are very aesthetically and morally pagan/fascist. Despite the historical, I can just hear the echo from inside the locker this guy was shoved in.
Yes.
Despite the historical accident of them being on the left in this country due to the power of the Christian right.
What power is that in 2024?
The Christian right doesn't have power in 2024. The left senses all of this. It's why this discourse has hit such a nerve, and they have pretended not to care. They dismiss this whole thing as stupid, then go write 20 to 30 think pieces on my one-sentence tweet. In an era of mass layoffs at seemingly every major media outlet, they still have the resources to create an entire literature on what Sydney Sweeney's imply about the future of wokeness. This tells us something. So I guess what he's trying to say is the left is afraid of Sydney Sweeney. They're afraid of her crypto-fascism. I just think that this is really dorky, and Sydney Sweeney, if she read this, would laugh at it.
Yep. But she wouldn't put him down because she's smart enough to know that person too could buy one of, kind of like Michael Jordan, Republicans buy sneakers too. She's like, look, these people buy movie tickets too.
Right.
Sydney Sweeney's virtue is that she's smart when it comes to business. She's good at marketing herself. She understands not to spew vitriol at the people who go to see her movies or watch her TV shows. She doesn't make political statements because they alienate certain people from your audience. Margot Robbie does the same thing. So that doesn't mean that she's right wing. It just means that she's not a dummy.
There's a $20 one here from the Manic Mustache. Says, ask the wife what she thought about Sweeney. She said, not the biggest rack, but they are the nicest. Miss Mustache approves. There you go.
What a take.
There you go. That's perfect.
But I don't know if they realize people on Twitter are arguing, like writing theses about Sydney Sweeney actually being a Nietzschean rightist.
Just let her be hot.
Yeah.
She's like, Nick, what? Nick, what? Who? Like, she doesn't know who that is.
For all we know, she's secretly like a genius. Maybe she is a Nietzschean rightist or whatever.
I don't think she knows who Nietzsche is. I just don't.
Well, maybe she does.
I don't think she cares.
She had an education.
I don't think she cares.
No, that's the important part, is she doesn't care. Because she's a normal person. That's what people like about her, is that she doesn't care about politics. That represents most people. Jennifer Lawrence lost her status as the it girl because she started screeching about Trump and abortion. She used to be the blonde chick that went on Jimmy Fallon and talked about how she likes eating cheeseburgers. But Sydney Sweeney took her place. And that's just the way the world works.
Yeah, I'm looking for some of these the memes of her. They were so good. It's all these like political philosophy quotes with just her picture. Not even saying that it's a quote from her. It's literally just her picture next to political philosophy quotes.
You directed me to this article written entirely about Sydney Sweeney's diet, and I think it's the most insane thing I've ever read. So this is her mealtime staples of her go-to snacks and desserts. For breakfast, Sydney keeps it straightforward, reaching for fruit and simple carbs. I love a good bowl of berries and some eggs and a bagel, she said. And for lunch, she'll usually tuck into a chicken Caesar salad or a cheeseburger.
I picture her when she says all this, she's going
hearty.
like this with her hair.
She said something hearty.
She did not say that.
That's what she looks for. Water is Sydney's beverage of choice. Ever since I was 12 years old, I was like, I'm just gonna drink water. And I love it. And I've been drinking Bai also, which is flavored water. And I really like it because you can get kind of bored with water every day, but that's my balance. She has a major sweet tooth.
I like how your voice changed to a Valley Girl accent while reading her quote.
I love sugar. I love my candy. I love my cookies and ice cream. Her favorite dessert is a pizookie, which is basically a chocolate chip cookie with vanilla ice cream on top.
I'm picturing her. She like spills a little ice cream there. And she's like, oh my God. And she goes, whoops.
It's my thing, she says.
Yes. Rita in the chat, Starburst water. Guys, they are trying to kill us with the flavored water. You cannot tell me, now there's like not just Starburst flavored water, there's Skittles flavored water. You don't get to just make water that tastes just like candy and tell me that it's the same thing as water, okay? They're out to get us.
It's funny, there are 0 calories.
I'm sure. I'm totally sure. They're trying to kill us.
She also said she's never even tried coffee before.
Wow.
That's kind of crazy, actually. She said, I eat sugar so it balances out. Instead of coffee, I have Swedish fish or a gummy if I'm tired.
I'm picturing like her marketing team saying like, what candy is popular right now? What should we say she eats when she's tired?
Italian is usually my go-to for dinner. Okay, love that. She also finished this with, it's important to eat. I mean, I definitely one day will probably start eating healthier, but I work out and I'm active, so I'm able to balance it out. But I love food and it makes me happy.
I love food. Yes, isn't that cool? But
I love food and it makes me happy.
I do want to point out, guys, that what you risk by making this, what we risk here, I guess I'm not on the right, so it doesn't really matter. What you risk by making this a topic of discussion all over the internet is, by doing this, now journalists are going to start pressuring her to talk about it, and it's going to force her.
No, they've already done that.
Yes.
They've already asked her, like, what do you think about right-wingers on the internet talking about your boobs? And she's like, I try not to think about that. like, that's the only thing you can say, really. Yep. So I applaud Sydney Sweeney for just being so aggressively normal, because we're really lacking that.
She's like, right?
Days.
What's the right? Like wing of what? A bird?
She barely even knows who Trump is.
I love that.
Love that for her.
She's like, who's Biden?
She could probably, like, you could, I think the fantasy is that you could mansplain anything to Sydney Sweeney.
Yes.
And it would legitimately be the first time she ever heard it.
She's like,
be so
you are so smart.
So you buy low and you sell high? That's so smart.
So what's the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum?
Like, she's selling that fantasy. And if she actually is an evil mastermind and she knows what she's doing, I love it even more. Let's finish off these super chats. Nate said, accountant rocks, autistic super soldier.
Yep, that's exactly what he is.
Rhaegar Targaryen said, whatever happened to spitting gum on the ground like normal people?
Well, it was a movie set, so technically they have to clean everything up that goes on the ground there when they're doing that.
Mm-hmm. Also, Anna Camp over Anna Kendrick.
Yeah, Anna Kendrick is just empty.
I've never heard of Anna Camp. Shimmy Shelley said, just saw The Accountant and immediately thought of Brett. Such a great movie.
Yes!
That's Rodeo said, the most old rodeo cowboy story of all time. I don't know what that's referring to. Nate said, but will the Cowboys start in OF?
Oh, is that in reference
the Yellowstone
to the
actor?
Yellowstone guy?
Oh, okay.
He should.
Shane H. Wilder said, Steve has always been cringe. Listen to his attempt at being an indie rocker. He put an album out called Songs for Dust Mites. It was pretentious AF.
Who did?
The Steve from Blue's Clues.
Oh, did he?
He tried to become an indie artist. That's awful.
Okay.
Nate said
At least
somebody
he tried.
somebody would hit a powerbomb and Brett would be like, we saw an injury like this in season 2 of House.
Is there a wrestling episode of House? Trying to think. Yes, okay, so there is an episode, not pro wrestling, but there's a deaf character who's a wrestler, like he's like a high school
How do
wrestler.
you remember this?
Season 3, episode 21, I think.
Oh my gosh.
And you can't remember to turn the volume
You're like
up
Rain
for the
Man,
crisis
but with
party.
House.
Yes. Well, with any show that I've watched, I totally like ballpark guessed the episode number, but it was season 3 or 2. It was in there somewhere.
I believe you.
Shane H.
Or
Wilder.
no, it wouldn't have been that because it would have been in the season where he goes nuts. So it would have been season 4 or 5.
this.
Never
We're just
mind.
falling deeper and deeper
I
into
was
the rabbit
way
hole.
off on that guess. It was later because it was the episode where
Fake
he kind
fan.
of he
And you're
loses
gonna get called out.
He loses his mind from taking so much Vicodin, and he's hearing his own voice in his head done in the character of Amber, who's a character that died in the previous season. So it must have been season 5 that this happened because the Amber character is appearing to him as like a hallucination. So it must have been season 5. Towards the end of season 5.
Okay, I'm glad we clarified.
Yep,
so we can
happy to
move
clear
on.
that up for you guys.
Yes. Shane H. Wilder said, as the attorney meme general, I can screenshot y'all yelling at each other, although most look like y'all just died inside a little. LMFAO.
I also want to point out an interesting thing about that episode is they have a fun discussion about whether being deaf is a culture or not. And
Do you have a culture?
I don't. But the point
half
is,
a culture.
there's a great really really uncaring line from Foreman where they're like the deaf one of the characters like the deaf have their own schools, their own teachers, all these things. He goes, anything I can mimic with a $2 pair of earplugs isn't a culture. I was like, damn, bro, you didn't have to do them like that. That's fucked up.
Mr. Buzzkill said the original Ghostbusters wasn't a kid movie. Well, I guess Brett refuted that.
Look, it's not about whether it was or not. It's about whether it's not whether it was intended to be. It's about whether it was.
Was Ghostbusters initially an animated show for kids?
The animated show came after the movie. I don't.
Yeah, it was after the movie.
Okay. So
Manic Mustache sent $20. He said, we'll be going to 7-Eleven, a hot dog flavored water, grab bag of chocolate starfish when I get home. I'm going to break stuff, explain to the wife I did all for the beep. Most likely I'll be leaving with a fat lip. Let's go.
That was fantastic. There were so many of them in there. Give me something to break.
Boosted Yogi said, just thought I would put it out there. Where's the open world Dread game?
Okay.
I don't know what that is.
Judge Dredd.
Dave Collins.
If you haven't seen the 2012 Dredd movie with Carl Urban, you're missing out. You should go watch it.
Dave Collins said TMZ photographers are legal stalkers. I'm not even sure if it's legal what they're doing. Shane H. Wilder said, how could you not trust 50 Cent? He fears nothing. He's already been shot 9 times.
That is true.
Is that true?
That is true.
Wait, really?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Like separately?
I don't know if all 9 bullets happened at the same time. I don't think there were 9 separate
time.
shootings, but 9 bullets in total.
Got it.
Yep.
Rhaegar Targaryen said, literally my first memory of RoboCop was him firing his signature weapon at a criminal in the junk who was trying to ravage a woman, and that immortalized him forever in my mind as a hero. I was 6.
And there was toys about this. It's
Really? Okay.
The good old days.
Nate said PCC is exposed as best podcast on YouTube.
Of course. That's obviously true.
Self-made woman said, I want a Neuralink. You shouldn't want that.
How do you feel about Neuralink?
Bad.
Yeah, no.
Obviously
Slippery
bad.
slope.
I think there's something oddly poetic about putting like the most meme proficient person, like billionaire there is, in charge of Neuralink.
Yeah.
You know,
It is very
like he's
like
not
in a bad
he's
way,
not
right?
an inherently serious person on all topics. So I'm just picturing him because it's like they would say like everyone would talk about wanting like a computer in their brain until your Google account has been logged out and it's just hitting you, telling you to re-log in, and you can't remember the password, and your brain's all fucked up. Like, Elon is, I don't know if Elon is the guy I want in charge of it, but at the same time, would I want any other billionaire in charge of it? I'd say just don't do it at all.
I think, recreationally, it's not a good idea. I feel like there's rare exception to where it could be.
I just roll my eyes at Elon's posts now.
I saw you call out his boomer meme.
He's such a boomer. I mean, it's literally like me trying to enjoy a movie in peace, woke culture. Like, stop. Like, you're literally ruining everything. 200 Watt Studio said, because of inflation, the I'll buy that for $1 guy from RoboCop can only buy that for 50 cents.
Yeah.
DCNC said, my boss's beanies make him look like a big nerd. You should tell your boss that. Thank you. Not That John Stewart said, everybody knows he had a connection to Obama. Big Mike confirmed. Thanks, Obama.
Thanks, Obama.
Pat the Plumber said, Tim Pool proving Mary Morgan is the brains behind Timcast.
This is true.
And then he said, Drea was grifting off Tim.
I mean, I hate that word. Like, what does that mean in this context?
Know.
What does that mean? You're saying that she didn't mean any of the things that she said to him? She wasn't actually offended?
Yeah, I don't entirely get that either. 200 Watt Studio said Drea is literally and objectively doing sax work. Yes. Yes.
Well, okay, so here's the question. So if she poses in lingerie for herself and people buy it, as opposed to she poses in lingerie for a magazine or for a company, and people, you know, it's the internet. You don't have to pay for these things these days. Like,
okay, look, you have an OnlyFans. You're not a model. You're not a model. You're not.
You didn't have to beat out other people for this one position.
You're not selling a product. You are the product.
Yeah,
that's the difference. You're not a model. I think that's pretty much the final word on that question.
You're the business and the product.
Exactly. Corey Anderson said Drea stallions are male horses. She should know that. Yeah. Shane H. Wilder said digital prostitution affects society in terms of how men view women view themselves, and how both view the sexual act.
I do think it was disingenuous for her to pretend like it's not an issue that people care about.
Why do you even care?
Like, well, I mean, it would be one thing to say that to a leftist.
There's just a legion of screaming whores being like, why do you care what we do with our bodies? Like, stop. Pat the Plumber said, hookers of the world uniting against Tim Pool is not an arc I saw feminism taking. No, not one I saw either. 200 Watt Studio said,
he deleted that one, first one.
Oh, you don't want me to read it?
Well, I'm saying he retracted it, so I don't know if he meant it to be read.
Did he send it again?
He sent a second one that's right after that.
He said, I'm a big fan of the old In and Out.
Okay.
Micah Kaziki said, how many kitties would Diddy diddle if Diddy did diddle Diddy's kitties? Say that 3 times and then pray 5 rosaries. Our Father who art in heaven. The Manic Mustache said, I found the AirTag my wife hides in my fanny pack. Asked why. She said she didn't want to lose me.
Aw.
So what's worse in this situation? Your wife lowjacks you, or you ask her if she should and she just doesn't care. She's
Or
like,
you have a fanny pack.
Or you have a fanny pack.
I think that's the worst part. Rhaegar Targaryen said, we went from standing for Sydney Watson to standing for Sydney Sweeney. You love to see it.
Okay.
I don't know what this has to do with Sydney Watson.
Well, they both have the same name, Mary. That's what they have to do with each other.
Okay. Nate said egos were small and chests were big.
Yeah, that's a quote for the ages. Thank you.
Wait, did that come from you, or is that like a reference?
I just said that.
Yeah, that was a Brett quote.
Okay, love that. DCNC said, ask not what your country can do for you. Sydney Sweeney, 2024. Ethan Miller said being hot is right wing. Is it though? Because there are plenty of hot leftists, at least in Hollywood.
That's a thing on the internet, though.
That is yeah. Okay, so you could make the comment that like right-wing political commentators, yes. Okay.
Sure.
But there's plenty of smoking hot women in Hollywood that are just insane leftists and
specifically in Hollywood, though.
Yes.
Like in the real world, they are less good-looking than conservatives, but in Hollywood, they're good looking. The Manic Mustache said, ask the wife what she thought about
we did that
Sweeney.
one. Yep. We're down to Dave Collins.
Okay. He said, I've always been skeptical of flavored water that claims to have 0 sugar or calories.
Yeah, it's a grift. If anything, it's a grift.
A grift.
A grift.
The Rumbling said Sydney Sweeney is a sweet person who is capitalist/libertarian. She doesn't care what others are doing and knows not to upset fans.
I don't even think she's like, what's a librarian?
Stop putting her in a box.
I'm not part of the librarian party. What is that?
The Highlander said Helldivers 2 is propaganda and trash. Changed my mind.
I'm not playing it, but I think Phil or Dane said they were playing it. One of them said they were playing it. You can talk to them about it.
Yesh said Brett, don't watch X-Men 97. But then he has a smirk emoji after that.
I'm
so
not
maybe
going
he wants you
to. If I watched anything X-Men, I would probably just go rewatch the original movies, X1 and X2.
Nate said, is Cyberpunk kind of the Judge Dredd game?
I haven't played the Judge Dredd game. I've only watched the movies. So watch the 2012 Dredd movie. I do encourage you.
Shane H. Wilder said, all right, guys, I can't hang out for another crisis party. I'm heading to church as we have the arm of St. Jude on display this evening. See y'all.
Oh,
That's
we
cool.
missed a 20 there from Gordon Shumway.
Oh, it just came in for me. He said, Brett, Ghostbusters was actually a live-action show in the 70s, way before the movie. Filmation updated that show with a cartoon. They had the rights to the name. That's why the show you saw is called The Real Ghostbusters.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Huh.
Well, the 80s movie is fantastic, and I do love the age when that's what male movie stars look like, just like dads. Just dads. Major dad energy.
There were still good-looking action stars.
I also loved when he's making fun of the dude who's in the it's not a choir, who's in like the cellist or the guy he plays the instrument, and he's the nasal spray, and he's making fun of him. You remember that?
No memory of
this.
Okay. Corey Anderson said the PCC community is the best community.
That is
I love
true.
PCC.
And PCC loves you, Corey. Even if we can't read your super chats all the time.
Yeah.
All right, guys, before we go, would you hit the like button, please, on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already, please and thank you. And Sarah, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me back, guys. Be sure to buy up the pumpkin spice because once it runs out, we are not restocking it.
Ever?
Nope, ever.
Where can they find you?
You can find Brew Coffee on Twitter at Brew Coffee.
Perfect.
I heard Tim begging people to buy something other than Appalachian Nights the other day.
Yeah, guys, we have other coffee. For those of you who purchased the coffee, all the other flavors are just as good in my opinion. It depends on if you like a dark, light, or medium roast. Re-Rise with Roberto is also a dark roast. So
Okay. You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived.
Perfect. Guys, if you want to follow me, Instagram and Twix at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. PCC is here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Noon Pacific, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify if you would prefer to listen rather than watch. If you want to follow the show on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook and TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Guys, tonight I will be on live with Mikey Harlow on his YouTube channel at 8 p.m. Eastern. You should go ahead and check that out over there. I will tweet out the link right before, probably an hour before the show, and maybe then right up before we go live. So 8 p.m. over there on his YouTube channel. We're going to talk pop culture. I'm sure a lot of this Diddy stuff will end up coming up. It seems to be the story that everyone's talking about. So go check that out tonight, and we will see you guys here with another episode tomorrow. Later.
Bye.
Peace.